against CC Sabathia, but the Yankee offense had other ideas. Yankees won the game 8-3, and they jumped all over Halladay.
It didn't take long. I mean, it was in the second inning that you get the first indication that Roy Halladay was not going to be his usual self. Brett Gardner, two-run triple, and then all of a sudden the breaking ball started hanging over the plate. Left-hander started going deep, which he has taken care of left-handers all year. Mark Teixeira hits a third one of the night. Unusual night for Roy Halladay.
Unusual indeed. So the Yankees beat up on him. He gives up 3 home runs, and the Phillies lose the first game of the series. Let's look at tonight's New York Lottery pitching matchup. 47-year-old Jamie Moyer. He will go for the Phillies, 6-6, 5.03. A.J. Burnett for the Yankees, 6-4 with a 3.86 ERA.
And looking back here, this was last year's World Series game. Actually, the Yanks down 1-0. Big start for A.J. Burnett. Put him on the Yankee mat. Winning this ball game, Game 2 of the World Series. 9 strikeouts, complete domination. His last couple starts, his start in Baltimore wasn't very good. A.J.'s going to try to turn around with a good ball game tonight.
Jamie Moyer will be his opposition on the mound. Jamie Moyer should be a little bit concerned. There's some Yankees that own him. We'll break it down for you next on segment 2. Yankees against the Phillies. Jamie Moyer gets the start for the Phillies, and it's a pretty impressive resume. He's old. He's been around a long time. He's done a lot of good things, World Championship and All-Star as well, and a pretty good career record of 264 and 201. But there are some guys on the Yankees that are very happy to see the ancient one on the mound. Alex Rodriguez, not good. That's when Jamie was the ancient Mariner. Alex connected again. But it's not only Alex in the Yankee lineup that's happy to see Jamie Moyer on the mound for the Phillies. Let's take a look at some of these glittering numbers. Now, Alex hits .389 against Moyer. Jeter, .324 with 2 home runs. Posada, .333 with a home run. And Teixeira, .306 with a home run. Moyer's going to have to navigate through that. Last night, it was all Yankees. Yankees won the game 8-3. A lot of big moments, a lot of big hits. They did exactly what they wanted to do. Same thing today. Lineups, first pitch, baseball. Coming up next on Yes. the dealer, and by Avis, the official rental car company of the New York Yankees. It's a nice day here in New York City. Kids playing soccer across the street from the ballpark, and in the ballpark, the Yankees and the Phillies are getting ready to roll. So A.J. Burnett is on the mound. He will be opposing Jamie Moyer. Yesterday it was all Yankees. CC Sabathia gave the Yankees 7 innings and allowed 3 hits, and the Yankees hit 3 home runs against Roy Halladay, and that's a career high. He's done it 9 times, ironically enough. The last 3 times against the Yankees, 2 times last year, and last night as well. The Phillies are a team struggling. The Phillies are a team that needs to break out of their offensive malaise, and A.J. Burnett has had success against them. And the bottom line, Al, Game 2 of the World Series last year, which we talked about in the Open, that was a big game for the Yankees, and they really needed him to pitch well.
Yeah, they sure did, and he stepped up. I think as a Yankee, it's all about winning championships, and that really put A.J. on the map. Well-deserved, 9 strikeouts, as you say, Michael. Good start.
All right, let's take a look at the Phillies lineup that he's going to face, and it's presented by Lexus. Shane Victorino in center field will lead off. Posada Polanco, the third baseman, bats second. Batting third and playing second base, Chase Utley. Ryan Howard at first base cleans up. Batting fifth and playing right field, Jason Worth. Raul Ibanez in left field hits sixth. Batting seventh and DHing Greg Dobbs. Brian Schneider will catch. He's going to bat eighth, and batting ninth and playing shortstop is Wilson Valdez. Phillies coming at 32 and 30. These are the numbers on A.J. Burnett that he takes into this game. 6-4, 3.86. About a hit per inning, 60 strikeouts, 29 walks. Opponents hit 264 against him.
Watching those strikeouts at 60, normally with A.J. being a strikeout pitcher, closer to strikeout an inning, 84, 60 strikeouts.
Victorino digs in. He's ready. A.J. Burnett is ready. And let's do it here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. The first pitch is up and away, 1-0.
Let's take a look at the Jeep pitcher scouting report. Out of the chute, he's retired at first inning, only 2 of his 13 starts, so he kind of gets rolling into the game. Control the running game, 17 stolen bases allowed. Really, Victorino is the biggest threat for this Philly lineup. And Mr. Howard, 2 for 15. Michael mentioned about the struggles of this Phillies lineup. 133 batting average, only 2 hits. One of them was a home run. We'll watch that matchup tonight.
Count 1-1 on Victorino. Hitless in his last 15 at bats, and now it's 1-2.
How you doing, Michael?
Good. How you feeling?
I just wanted to say something here. Been getting shut out here at first.
Good to have you here, Paul. And the 1-2. We got a big surprise for you coming up a little later on. Can't tell you what it is, but we're going to be happy.
Can you tell me?
I can tell you, but if I tell you, he's going to hear it.
I'll turn my ears off.
I think we have it. You mentioned about the Philly offense. This is a guy here who's had a nice season. But really, I think it starts with Jimmy Rollins, who's been out. He's been a catalyst of this team. It's really altered the lineup. Like most teams, if there's not as much depth, you move guys out of their normal slot.
That one's popped up. Russo is in foul territory near the seats to make the play for the first out. Victorino now 0 for his last 16, and that's not good when you're the leadoff batter.
We saw Phil Hughes the other night miss his target a lot with his fastball, but he has such good stuff he can get away with it. And if you look at that out right there, I mean, Michael and I talked it over. When you have a good moving fastball, you can get away with some things. I mean, he missed his target completely across the plate, but when it's 94 miles an hour with movement, you can get away with it.
Here's Polanco, one of the few hitters in the Philly lineup actually hitting 318. Pitch outside, 1-0. Talking to Tom McCarthy, the television voice of the Phillies, he said they haven't hit home runs. He said, and they haven't had extra base hits. That's what's shocking as well. Such a big drop from last year at this time. Count 1-1. There's Tom.
He looks like Tom. Some people just look like Tom.
He looks like Tom?
He looks like Tom. He's Tom.
New Jersey native. Actually went to college with our producer, Bill Bowling.
I did. I saw Bill before the game. They were talking.
1-1. He told me he doesn't like Bill, but Bill doesn't know that.
Uh-huh. Yeah. He does now. It's right in your ear.
Oh, I forgot. That's right.
This 2 whole spots. More of Polanco's batting order. He batted third last night. good situational hitter, Paul. Guy tough with 2 strikes. His approach has always been right center field. That's your ideal 2-hole hitter. Doesn't walk a whole lot, doesn't strike out a whole lot, puts the ball in play.
He's a good player. I mean, he's one guy that you brought in here with Roy Halladay. We talked about it last night. You thought they were the perfect fit for this team that just came back from losing the World Series. And all of a sudden now you've got other problems. But Polanco, good player.
Here's the 2-2. Strike 3. Polanco down looking. Punched out by Ed Rapuano. Let's take a look at the Yankees defense behind A.J. Burnett, brought to you by Mercedes. In the outfield, you've got Gardner in left, Granderson in center, and Swisher in right. Infield, from third to first, Russo, Jeter, Canó, and Teixeira. Posada is behind the plate, and A.J. Burnett on the mound.
Again, a lot of times you talk about A.J. Burnett and his curveball to strike people out. There's a good 4-seam fastball right. Oh, that's a real punch out there.
Like Frank Pulley. Remember Frank Pulley?
Oh, yeah. You know, that's such a thing. As a pitcher, you probably enjoyed that little punch. You used to look back with, why are you trying to show me up as a hitter? You're just going to punch me out like that?
Was it a show? They showed that? You thought that?
Every umpire has their own little personal strike call.
He's going to let you know, Eddie Rapuano. Good umpire. Long-time veteran umpire.
Right in on the hands, 0-2.
We've seen a lot of fastballs early from A.J. Burnett. I always love pitchers that get through the first inning, first part of the lineup with, throwing a lot of fastballs, and then the next time, you add another pitch. And boy, it sure made it difficult as a hitter to go up to your second or third at bat, not even knowing what kind of curveball he had.
Here's the 0-2 from Burnett. Breaking ball gets away from Posada. I guess it clipped Utley.
Michael, we have done, 4 games, 5 games
together? A lot of hit by pitch.
A lot of people have been hitting with this back foot. These sliders.
Posada last night. Well, that's exactly what happens with the right-handed pitcher. Just can't get out of the way. You see Utley committed. No chance of trying to get his foot out of the way. A little 83-mile-an-hour curveball.
Well, Burnett, that's what he does. His pitches move a lot. He doesn't have the greatest command of them at times. So he has 9 hit batsmen, and that's tops in the American League.
That also, Michael, and he does come inside enough. Especially, I think, the 4-seamer in on the left-handed pitcher, or the batter.
That one gets away from Posada, and that allows Utley to move to second. Be a wild pitch.
Funny, we were just talking about how successful he's been with, just going at people with a fastball. All of a sudden, 0-2 pitch, he hits Utley. You see another wild pitch, so he doesn't have his curveball. You see Georgie move over there, couldn't quite get his body in front of it. All of a sudden, now you've got a man in scoring position where you had a very easy inning going.
Count 1-1. Burnett holds opponents to 8 for 42 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. That's the situation he's in right now. A 190 batting average.
That swing right there, Paul. A 1-0 count with Ryan Howard up fastball up and away, which is his nitro zone, just swinging through it. You know he's struggling.
And again,
just an emergency hack.
Yeah, you see it. I mean, if you watch his body, his whole body's in that kind of that pull mode. As a left-handed hitter, you see everything's kind of going towards that. And what happens is when your weight is leaving the plate, you don't have anything to left, and your bat is slow, and you kind of drag it through the zone.
Throw it again.
The 1-2. Fouled away. So you would keep throwing it out. You wouldn't try to fool him.
Based on his reaction, looking inside, as Paul just said, he's got a pull mode, and you throw a fastball. Ryan Howard is right. This guy, up and away, he'll drive it easily left center field, and it's just kind of a flailing swing. He's got to prove to me that he's going to stay on this pitch and drive it, or at least if he fouls it off, it looks like he's got an idea of going the other way.
They go outside at 96 miles an hour. Count 2-2. Howard, 2 hits and 12 at bats against AJ, but both of those hits home runs. And the 2-2. Canó in short right field will get Howard for the final out of the inning. No runs, no hits, and one man left. Phillies nothing. And the Yankees coming to bat against Jamie Moyer. By McDonald's. Head to McDonald's for a refreshing large sweet tea on the dollar menu. Prices and participation may vary. By Honda. Look for money-saving leases and low financing at your Honda dealer. And by Avis, the official rental car company of the New York Yankees. Phillies on the field. Jamie Moyer has finished his warm-up, so why don't we take a look right now at the Yankees starting lineup that will face the 47-year-old left-hander. And the Yankees starting lineup tonight presented by Lexus. The captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter, leads off. Batting second and playing right, Nick Swisher. Mark Teixeira's at first base, will hit third. Alex Rodriguez back in the lineup as a DH. Robinson Canó at second. Posada will catch. Curtis Granderson in center. Kevin Russo at third. Brett Gardner batting ninth. He'll play left field. And here is Derek Jeter against Jamie Moyer. Jeter hitting .290, and Moyer deals. Jeter swings at the first pitch and grounds it to Utley. One pitch, one out. Let's take a look at Moyer's numbers this year. He's 6-6 with a 5.03, a hit per inning, 34 strikeouts. That's not his game. 15 walks. Opponents hitting .256 against him.
Let's take a look at the Jeep pitcher scouting report. Well, location. He's not going to throw very hard. 83 tops, perhaps. A lot of change-ups. Grew up a Phillies fan. He loved Steve Carlton. His first win was against the Phillies and Steve Carlton in 1986. And Robin Roberts, he's 3 more home runs if and when he gives them up. He'll be tied with Robin Roberts with giving up the most home runs in the history of Major League Baseball.
Very sad. Tags low.
Very sad to hear about Robin Roberts. Yeah. Not too long. I mean, he was actually recruited me to play at the University of South Florida. And I was actually at his house when I was drafted. There goes that back foot pitch again. But nice man, knew baseball, obviously, and told me at that point, son, if you want to go to play baseball, go. And always had kind of a withstanding joke with him that I never got to go down and pitch for him. I was going to be a pitcher at the University of South Florida. Yeah.
Robin Roberts passed away earlier this year. They hang his uniform in the dugout for all games, and they also have a number 36 on their sleeve to honor his memory. Pitch outside, 3-1.
What a gentleman. Nice man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, talking baseball, nice to anybody who wanted to come up and talk to him.
3-1. High fly ball right center. Victorino back. He's still back. He's still back on the track. He makes the play in front of the bullpen for the second out of the inning. Let's take a look at the Phillies defense, which is brought to you by Mercedes. Well, we've already seen Victorino flanking him on either side. Ibanez at left, Worth in right. In the infield, Polanco, Valdez, Utley, and Howard third to first. Schneider behind the plate, and Moyer is on the mound. Here's Mark Teixeira. And there's a strike. Grounded foul. Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. 73 degrees, 70% humidity, winds out of the south at 16 miles per hour, and the forecast is partly cloudy. Paul, you got a grade for that?
It's improving. When I came, there was some bad words in the forecast. Possible rain. Now it's starting to blue sky. I'd give it probably a 7.5, depending on where it goes from here.
So you're opening up the option to change.
Yeah, it's got a question mark in it, or an asterisk. What should I put by there?
I think you put a question mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you noticed, Michael, how this in-depth is weather? The man wanted to be Al Roker, I'm telling you. He wanted to be on TV doing the weather.
Yeah, but I think he's just pretty much reading it, right? Is that your idea?
Well, first off, to you, I am reading. To you, I've got the body type down, so I can be Al Roker, okay? The 2-2 is rip foul.
While we're up here kidding around, Teixeira's just hitting bullets in the stand as we speak. And that's the thing with Jamie Moyer as a hitter. You know he doesn't have anything to really put you away, so you have to still be patient. And if he gets that pitch, it could be a long night.
So Teixeira looks at a called third strike on the outside corner. The Yankees go down in order 1-2-3. We go to the second with no score. Do you think the Phillies will win their third straight National League pennant? You can text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply, and here are your choices. It's 1 yes, 2 no. I'm voting yes. I think they will.
What do you say, huh?
Like the Braves, I think they got a little mojo with Bobby Cox. I don't think 3-4-5 for the Mets is going to hold up. Yeah, they're going to be right there, right to the end with the Braves, I think.
That division will come down.
Is there a maybe? No, it was yes or no.
That division is going to come down how you play against each other.
Completely.
I mean, that's 18 games. You're going to play the Mets 18 times. You're going to play the Braves 18 times. You know, if you're 9-9, obviously nothing happens. But usually one team will set up better against another, and you can win a division that way this day and age when you play that many games within your division.
Braves have pitching now. I don't know how they're going to score runs. Chipper Jones, and there are the standings right there. Chipper Jones had a discussion with the front office yesterday, and there's some talk he might retire with a year left on his contract at the end of the season. He's sitting like 225.
Yeah, well, but they're still, as you see, they're doing fine without him. And it is pitching. I think Billy Wagner has been a huge difference. Jason Hayward is about as exciting of any player in baseball, rookie.
Worth, lost one to center field. Granderson for the first out. A lot of waffling going on around here. A lot of waffling. You with the, you didn't know 7, maybe 7.5. I'm going to change you. I'm not sure. Get paid a lot of money.
You know,
I'm going to say yes.
It's early in the game, you know. We're not quite there yet.
All right.
Yeah.
No, I think with the Phillies, you have to. Do you believe that they're going to struggle offensively the way they've done so far in this
all year? No, I
know. Right. That's the question. You got Ryan Madson, who's as good a setup as anybody the last few years, who kicked a chair and broke his toe. They need him back. Certainly, Brad Lidge at the back end of this bullpen as their closer. He needs to be what he was a couple years ago. But their offense is too good.
Now, there are stories out there in the last couple of days that the Braves are interested, not the Braves, the Phillies are interested in maybe bringing back Pedro Martinez, who said he wants to pitch, but it's going to be, you know, again, at the halfway mark of the season. Pedro Martinez ended up starting Game 6 of the World Series last year.
What was he, 5-1 for him last year?
Yeah, he did a good job.
So, I mean, there's a guy that you can bring back that can help a rotation, but you know he's never going to fill the spot of like a Roy Halladay or something. He's not your number one anymore. So you bring him in to win some games against 4th and 5th starters of other teams.
Yeah, well, he was off yesterday. I haven't seen him pitch that way ever live. Certainly his command was not what it was, but you think about their rotation, Michael. I think Joe Blanton has been really a disappointment after getting a multi-year contract, 1-5 with a 7 ERA.
Well, this is the people that have gone down for the Phillies. Rollins is the biggest injury. I mean, he really does jumpstart this offense. And then Madsen, it's so important that he's out there setting up whoever's going to close. And then J.A. Happ, 15-day deal with a forearm problem. Those aren't minor injuries. Those are important players for this team. There's Blanton on the right and Cole Hamels on the left.
Who had a heck of a start. Again, what he showed for the Phillies 2 years ago in the postseason was fantastic. Last year, not quite as good, but it looks like he's come around. Good 1-2 punch with Halladay and Cole Hamels.
Greg Dobbs, 4 hits in his last 41 at bats. That one's blocked. Count 1-1.
You know, if you think about it, you trade for Roy Halladay, but in trading there, you give up Cliff Lee, who was your best starter in the World Series. So as an organization, you have to have a lot of confidence that Cole Hamels is going to turn it around and be the pitcher that he was, or you cannot get rid of Cliff Lee. And so, you know, it showed a lot of guts as an organization. I mean, obviously not to bring in Roy Halladay, but to trade away Cliff Lee, who did a great job for him.
Runner goes. Pitch outside. Throw to second. Not in time. Ibanez with a stolen base.
Well, I said about the scouting report with the 17 stolen bases that he's given up, the most in Major League. Raul Ibanez, that's his first stolen base of the year. This is a club that doesn't run a whole lot. Pitch away. They see the big leg kick most of the time. Nice throw. Good quick tag. And yes, Mo. See that he's getting in there.
Whoa! He was disconnected with the bag, so he's out.
Yes, Mo proves a lot of things wrong. Right, wrong, however you want to look at it.
Base hit to right field. That is going to get in a run. Ibanez rounds third. He'll score. Dobbs will stay at first as the throw comes into second. So an RBI single for Dobbs, and the Phillies lead 1-0.
Again, A.J. Burnett throughout the year has been better from the stretch, but not here. Dobbs gets a pitch up in the zone, drives it to right field. Swisher does a good job getting this ball off the wall. Making a strong throw, not picking up the runner. I mean, the important thing there as a right fielder, you see, it's not even a great throw. But you don't pick up the ball and watch where the runner is and waste time. You pick up the ball, get it in immediately, and the runner will stop just on your reactions. I mean, you can't read the throw as you're turning, deciding whether you're going to go to second base. It's just how quick the outfielder gets to it and gets rid of it. One out outfielders have a really bad habit of picking the ball up and then facing and finding out what's going on. You should know where you're throwing that ball immediately. You don't need to read where the runner is.
This is Dobbs. He's watching Swisher. He sees he's coming up throwing, so he puts the brakes on. Picks up his first RBI since May 5th. He's now 5 for 7 lifetime against A.J. Burnett. Yeah. Snyder, the backup catcher for the Phillies, has good numbers.
Again, controlling the running game. Now, the Phillies are second to last in the American National League in stolen bases. I said Victorino is their main threat, Jimmy Rollins being out with an injury, a calf injury. But you still have to be mindful of what I call the yellow runners. You have green runners, the great base runners are going to get their stolen base. You've got to keep away from guys like Ibanez's first stolen base. It's so important to at least be mindful, quicken your leg step once in a while. AJ's not one of those guys that like to do it. And in the end, if you have a pitcher who has a big leg kick, you're going to get more times than not. I don't care if he's shooting a rocket out of there behind home plate.
And that's been what he's doing all year. They run at will on A.J. Burnett, and he's not going to quicken his delivery. He just doesn't feel comfortable doing it. 3-0. There's a strike. Now, Al mentioned the Phillies' second fewest stolen bases in the National League. Only the Giants have fewer, and that's a team that goes base to base.
Well, you think of it, walk, which is part of the game, one-out walk, and then a stolen base, and obviously Dobbs, who's got good history, a few bats, gets a nice single to right field. There.
Runner goes, pitches outside, so a walk to Schneider. We told you AJ allows stolen bases. In fact, he allows the most in the American League. The Indians' Fausto Carmona next, and then Mesh, Pavano, and Santana are tied, giving up 16. So the stolen base by Ibanez was the 18th, and it was big because that allowed him to score on Dobbs' single. So 2 walks in this inning. They've put Burnett in a tough situation. First and second with 1 out. Here's Wilson Valdez.
I'll tell you what it does when you get a running game going. It gives guys opportunities to drive in runs. I mean, it's such a different at bat when a guy steals a base and he's on second base as a hitter. All of a sudden, you kind of, you try to turn things up. At bats with runners in scoring positions are fun. I mean, that's what hitters like. It frustrates the pitcher.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, too, even the aggressive secondary fake takeoff, the pitchers, right, especially left-handed, you're looking right at him, you quicken your delivery. And because of that, a lot of times as a hitter, Paul, I'm sure you've got a lot of meaty fastballs because you got a guy, your 1-2 hole hitter that's on base that allows the pitcher to quick his delivery. You get underneath it.
Breaking ball's a strike. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. Runners lead off first and second with 1 out. And the 0-2. Right back to Burnett. He knocks it down. Doesn't know where it is. Everybody is safe. So he stopped it from going up the middle. And a base hit, and the bases are loaded.
It's amazing that when you start running, you start getting things going, it's like it unleashes everybody to do things. It puts pressure on the defense. There's guys on base, and you see A.J. Burnett. I don't know if he didn't get a good read of where that ball went,
but got him on that right foot.
Well, curious too. You have a guy, Wilson Valdez, obviously filling in for Jimmy Rollins last night. They had Juan Castro. You got a 2-strike approach, 0-2. Now, of course, you're trying to bury it. I get it as a pitcher. It's not easy. You always, it's not Nintendo where you're going to throw it exactly where you want. But you got a guy that's not trying to hit the ball out of the park. He's just going to put the ball in play. I always thought with a little guy, unless it's really in the dirt, that's all he's trying to do anyway. Is just to slap the ball. So, this isn't a second-guess scenario, but I'm saying, power him. Make the little guy, fight it off. Beat you. Put something hard in on the hands. That's part of the cat and mouse.
There's Victorino. 1-0.
It's a really, really good sign for Charlie Manuel. I mean, as bad as their offense has been, the stats were out there. They have been fighting behind. I mean, they seldom get ahead in games anymore. So to get out and score a run early, it's just it's a bright spot for the Phillies.
Grounded foul outside of third. Dobbs had a jump rope to get out of the way.
But you know this, Paul. I had talking to Charlie Manuel about this, and I think it was 8 shutouts. Is it, Michael? They've been shut out often, and because of that, they're feeling it. And you know, you have to answer to this. As a pitching staff, if you're struggling, you're answering to it. You want to be the guy to step up. And I think we talked about it last night, wanting to hit that 5-run home run to kind of relieve the negativity.
It was last night. You forget about that already?
What about the 5-run home run?
Last night? Yeah. Doesn't take you long to turn the page, does it? Huh?
7 shutouts, Al.
7.
That's what Victorino's done with the bases loaded in his career. Great numbers. This is only the 3rd time in the last 23 games that the Phillies have scored the first run. The 2-1. And now he's really in trouble. He's got a 3-1 count. He's got no place to put Victorino. And he doesn't want to put one right down the middle. Victorino has the power to make it 5-0. Polanco's on deck. Victorino hitting .365, 19 for 52 with runners in scoring position. Popped him up behind the plate and out of play.
These are the guys, to me, Al, that would really frustrate you as a pitcher, especially with bases loaded. You got Victorino up there now. You got Polanco on deck. Guys that are hard to strike out. Guys that are going to put the ball in play. You almost are better off with the power hitters when you've got a chance to strike them out with men on bases loaded.
No question about it. I much would rather have faced guys that were trying to get the ball out of the plate, extension, trying to hit the ball in the park, as opposed to the, as you described it, a 2-strike pesky hitters just trying to put the ball in play.
3-2. Served into right center field, giving chase Granderson. He can't get there. It gets past him and it goes to the wall. That is going to clear the bases. Victorino going for 3. And he's in there. A 3-run triple, and the Phillies lead 4-0.
I'll tell you what, not only a good piece of hitting, he got out of the box, and I was very surprised. I didn't think Victorino had wheels like that. I mean, that's not a sure triple off the bat. You see, he got a good pitch out over the plate, drove it, and Granderson hustles. Actually gets the ball in quick. Victorino just outran the ball and got to third base. Good base runner.
Valdez really motoring around the bases, and here's the guy they call the Flying Hawaiian, and that's exactly what he was doing. So the Yankees bring the infield in now with a runner at third and 1 out. The pitch to Polanco. Breaking ball is a strike. It was a strike, but it totally missed the target set up by Jorge Posada. So AJ's command is off again for the 2nd straight start. For Victorino, that's his 7th triple of the year. Count 0-2.
Well, 7 triple, that's a lot for a year in my mind. We're not even,
especially his home ballpark is a small park. Polanco has a 9-game hitting streak going. 14 for 38 during that streak. And the 0-2. Missed inside, 1-2. So Burnett worked a scoreless first inning. Got the first out here in the 4th, but then a walk to Ibanez and things unraveled. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, ball in the dirt. Posada gets an angle. They get the out, and AJ heads up, was covering home plate in case Victorino darted home. So 2 away.
Well, getting at a good pitcher's count. What a difference. Victorino, he got behind. He had to throw him a couple fastball. Victorino missed the pitch before that he ended up driving right center for the triple. Then he gets ahead in Polanco. Becomes less predictable. Polanco struck out looking with a fastball in his first at bat. Nice curveball. You can see the defensive swing from Polanco.
Here's Utley, hit by a pitch in his first at bat. Pitch outside, off speed, count 1-0. Utley had 5 home runs last year in the World Series against the Yankees, and that tied Reggie Jackson for the most home runs in a single World Series. 3 of them were against CC Sabathia. 2 of them game 1 right here at the stadium. Count 2-0.
You tell every once in a while when a hitter just thinks, he's not going to give me much to hit here. Very surprising with Ryan Howard on deck. That pitch he wasn't going to offer it.
Utley, the 8th batter to come to the plate. And he grounds it out to Teixeira. Beats him to the bag, and that'll do it. 4 runs by the Phillies. The big blow by Shane Victorino. He slaps a triple into the gap, and right center cleared the bases. Got himself 3 bases and 3 ribbies. 4-0 Philly lead.
Still has the same amount of energy he did when he played. So you think that they could figure out a way to get it done.
Well, Jamie Moyer has certainly figured out a way. The 2 guys next to me enjoy sitting next to me rather than playing. Alex Rodriguez will lead off, and he has been out of the lineup for 4 straight days. We'll join Kim Jones in just a moment, but Alex out with the hip flexor, back in the lineup. So let's take a look at what he does here against Moyer. Pitch inside. They didn't want to put him in the lineup at third base because they didn't think the lateral movement was there just yet. But they felt that after batting practice, he was okay to swing the bat. The 1-0. Count 2-0. Paul, will 4 days off get you out of sync?
It can. I mean, it's not just hitting, it's fielding, it's everything. Everything gets out of sync. It's amazing, this game, when you play it every single day.
That one is driven to center field. Victorino is there. And there's one away.
Like I was saying, it's amazing when you play something every single day, how even like in the All-Star break, when you take 3 days off, it kind of gets you out of sync and out of rhythm. Alex was happy the way, he went through his drills yesterday. But, an easy way to get back in the lineup is get your at-bats, progressively get back out there at third base.
Now, Kim Jones was off all weekend. She had the 3-game weekend series off, and she has not missed a beat. Yesterday, she was unbelievable. Unbelievable again tonight. Kim, tell me about Jamie Moyer and what you found out about him.
You got her blushing before she starts her report.
We need to talk about the 47-year-old pitcher for the Phillies. He made his debut, guys, back in 1986 on this very day. How long ago was that? Phil Hughes wasn't even born yet. Tonight's third baseman, Kevin Russo, was still in diapers. He wasn't yet 2. Jamie Moyer, older than the Super Bowl. And if you think we're poking just a little bit of fun at him, that's nothing compared to what the Phillies do. Jamie and his wife Karen have a bunch of kids. One of them is a 6-year-old boy who is pitching already. Charlie Manuel says the 6-year-old's fastball is already faster than Jamie's.
So they ride this guy a lot, but they like him obviously on their team. And
yeah,
it's amazing though. He's 47, Leiter's 44, and Leiter's sitting up here.
Leiter could still be pitching. I say that every day, and you know Paul O'Neill could be hitting. The manager, Joe Girardi, said it, so I don't need to say it anymore to these guys.
You got a better heater than this guy, don't you?
Right now.
I threw 82 or 83 on the boardwalk last year.
That's right, see?
Down in Point Pleasant.
That's gone.
That one's driven deep to right field. Robinson Canó, a long solo shot into the bleachers. Yankees on the board. It's 4-1 Phils. That is some rarefied territory up there, Paul.
You can only sit here and just marvel at this guy day in and day out. Robbie Canó hits his 14th home run of the year. Lefty, righties, it doesn't matter. And Jamie Moyer doesn't, with his velocity and the way he pitches, his left-handed doesn't affect anything. That ball's right on the inside corner. Robbie stays square. And you're right, Michael. I mean, that ball is halfway up in the creatures.
8 of Cano's 14 home runs have been against left-handers. Now, Kim, the interesting thing that I find about Moyer is that he has a lot of respect from people around baseball, especially his opposing pitcher today.
He absolutely does. A.J. Burnett says that he so admires Moyer's durability and his love of the game. He said so many guys would have hung it up years ago. Yeah, no kidding, A.J. I said, have you ever met Jamie Moyer? He said just once, but here's what I'll tell you about him. Him and his wife Karen have a foundation, the Moyer Foundation. They do great work dedicated to helping children in distress. AJ says every year I make a donation to that foundation because I so admire the work the Moyers do. And by the way, guys, Canó clearly listened to his hitting coach tonight because Kevin Long told me when you're sitting on 82, you got to wait a lot longer for that ball than they did last night against Halladay. Canó made that look pretty easy.
Well, good stuff, Kim. We will talk to you a little bit later on in the postgame.
Thank you, Michael.
So Robinson Canó with a long home run, one of the longer home runs to right center that we have seen, as Paul said, halfway up the bleachers. Posada fouls one away. Just to put it in perspective, Al, I don't know if you've seen this stat, but since you retired, what was the year you retired?
06.
Okay. Since 06, Moyer's made 136 starts. He's 59 and 49 with a 4.52.
That's good.
1-2.
You know what, Michael? I do marvel at he still loves it, and I think I don't know where you were, Paul, in it when you were deciding to retire, and I know I could have got another year out of it maybe, and still been somewhat effective there. You see, 47, 210 days. He's got a pitch. Well, there's a little lockup. Now look at that. So you say, well, 81 miles an hour. You see that in high school games. His ability to change speeds and locate. Now, we just saw the Canó home run. Coming inside with an 83-mile-an-hour fastball, that ball's cutting there. Becomes very unpredictable. Where Moyer is now, he's either a feast or famine start. He had a 2-hit shutout against the Braves. His last start against the Red Sox, he didn't get out of the first inning and gave up 9 runs. I mean, this is the kind of scenario that you get with a guy who's going to be throwing, 83, what we're watching. And when the command's not there, we talk about A.J. Burnett and guys with the plus stuff. You get away with mistakes. What does that mean? You get away with balls that are in the zone that guys like Granderson, other good hitters, can hit the ball hard somewhere, either in the ballpark or out of the ballpark, as we just saw with Canó.
It must be hard work pitching the way he pitches, though, because you can't make a location mistake. Your concentration has to be just locked in, laser-like. Because if you make a mistake, it's going to be hit out.
I believe this. I believe Jamie Moyer absolutely thinks that he has a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. To stand on the mound and say, okay, fastball into Robinson Canó, and believe it.
I believe that. An 81-mile-an-hour pitch right on the outside corner against Granderson. But he missed his spot against Canó. He believed it. But then when he watched where it landed, I don't think he could believe it. We play 2, 4-1 Phillies. Brought to you by Acela Express. Enjoy the journey. One more game against the Phillies. Then the Mets come to town. A 3-game set Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon. And then off to the West Coast, Arizona 3, and then the Dodgers 3. Yankees shift for the lefty swinging Howard, but they leave Jeter at short, and they move Russo from third over to just to the right field side of second base. Foul back.
The teams do that so that you don't have two guys out of position. You only have one, with Russo, as Michael just said, going from third to that position and leaving Jeter in the spot.
It's going to make a tough play for him to get that bunt, isn't it? No.
High fly ball, deep center. Granderson back. He's on the track. He's at the wall. See ya! Home run, Ryan Howard. No shift for that. It's 5-1 Phillies. And that brings a smile to the face of Milt Thompson, the Phillies hitting coach.
Well, we talked about it his last at bat. He ended up getting a hard ground ball out in the first inning. A lot of fastballs away. And when Ryan Howard, like big hitters that hit the ball out of the park, as we just said, likes the ball away. You see that pitch up and away, that's his zone. Certainly at Citizens Bank Park, you deposit much easier to go to left field there. It's a good part of the bat on the ball.
You know, he made an adjustment. He started getting comfortable knowing that a fastball was coming, and you see he has so much leverage with that swing. When he hits the ball hard, it's not a line drive. It's a towering fly ball that continues to go, and that's why he's capable of hitting 40, 50 home runs a year.
The 0-1. There's a strike.
A lot of people don't realize, you know, it's not that you hit the ball any harder, but if you're a line drive hitter, a lot of the balls you hit perfectly are line drive. And there's an art to being a power hitter and elevating the ball, getting it up in the air. And you look back at some of the prolific home run hitters, Ken Griffey Jr., kind of a natural uppercut. Ryan Howard has enough power to hit the ball out to left field, center field, right field.
I know you were more gap to gap, but did you ever get up there and say, I'm going to try to hit a home run?
Oh, everybody. I don't think anybody ever played the game didn't at some time go up there and think that I never had good luck, and it would frustrate me. You know, here I've made so many outs trying to do this, but here we go again. I'm going to try to hit a home run, and inevitably you ground out, go back, lay my helmet down like I always did, have a little self-talk down by the cooler, and say I'll never do that again. And then tomorrow you were right back in the same boat.
You ever try and actually hit it?
Yeah, I hit a 3-0 home run in Old Tiger Stadium. That's the one time I can remember that I thought, you know, I'm going to try to hit a home run here, and I actually hit a home run.
That one is driven to right field. Nick Swisher back, looking up. See ya! A laser shot the other way off the bat of Worth. Back-to-back home runs for the Phillies, and they lead 6-1.
Again, I mean, this is the type of offense that people in the National League are used to seeing. You see smiles now, but it has not been like this for the Phillies. But this is what Charlie Manuel's been waiting for. I mean, Worth has this type of power. You saw in the World Series last year. He has the ability to get his arms extended, shoot the ball out to right center field. All of a sudden, this looks like the Phillies of old.
Let's take a look at the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. It was a long, hard line drive blast into the short porch and right.
Now, we talked about it last night about that sound that hitters love and pitchers hate. And that ball right there had that sound that you knew something special was happening.
It's the first time the Phillies have gone back-to-back this year. Wow. The 0-1. Now, you say about sound. Listen to the groan of Ryan Howard when he makes contact with this baseball. Listen. And the crowd, too. That one is driven out to left field. Gardner will put it away for the first out.
You know, last year, Yankee Stadium, they talked about how many home runs and right center, how it played. But, you know, over that Stanley sign out in left center to center field, that plays long. That plays just as long as it did in the old stadium. And Ryan Howard hit a fly ball that a lot of people thought, well, possibly got out easily.
Saw Boone Logan warming up for the Yankees as A.J. Does not have it. 6 home runs allowed by A.J. over his last 3 starts. 4 home runs in his first 11 starts. And the only way you can explain it, you look at his stuff, his fastball's still 93, 94. He had a 95, 96 so far today. It's all about location. He's not locating his fastball last time. And now he doesn't seem to have location on any of his pitches today.
Now it looks to me like he doesn't have that curveball that he can throw early in the count for strikes. And it takes once through the order for these guys to realize he's challenging people with a lot of fastballs. And is that just a lack of confidence in your curveball, or you think that you can pull the ball back?
High fly ball, left field. Gardner will put this one away for the second out.
Well, I think like any pitcher, it's absolutely a command issue. But if you look at both of those home runs, he was ahead in the count. It was just a good approach. And because of the command, two things. You get behind, you become predictable. When you're a 2-pitch pitcher, he's only throwing 1 changeup. And if your curveball's off, as you know, Paul, you could sit fastball. Even at 94, he's got some nice life to it, especially that 2-seamer running away. You can look at 1 velocity, or at least zone in at that same bat speed that you need for 94. And that's the difference when he dominates or not. Yes, you have to have command of that pitch there. 94, dot it when you need to. You're ahead. You can drop some curveballs as he did against Polanco in some moments in this game. But when it becomes a 2-pitch scenario, fastball curve, and one of them's off, hitters sit on 1 pitch. There are two of them now. That one was way off. He wanted to go fastball away. It's part of the game. I understand. I didn't do it very well often. It's not easy. Pitchers aren't robots. But that's the essence or the presence of what a pitcher tries to do and do it consistently.
2-0. Now 6-1 is not insurmountable. I mean, we're not trying to keep you tuned in for no reason. If you want to go somewhere else, that's up to you. But last time out, Jamie Moyer gave up 9 runs in 1 inning. So in 1 inning of pitching against the Red Sox, 9 runs. So I wouldn't say that the Yankees are out of this by any stretch. The 3-0 and a walk issued to Brian Schneider.
So there, you have the 8-hole hitter, Brian Schneider, nice player, but that's the scenario where you really got to go after. You got 2 outs. Yes, you're frustrated. You gave up a couple home runs. You got to make him earn it. Certainly, a 4-pitch walk is not what AJ's trying to do there.
So Schneider's been walked twice now, and here is Valdez. Foul back, and the count 0-1. 71 pitches for AJ. We're just in the 3rd inning. So he is not real long for this game. Yankees would like to squeeze a couple more innings out of him, because you don't want to have to get 7+ out of your bullpen. Puts a lot of pressure then on Andy Pettitte, tomorrow's starter, to give them length. They've been getting such great starting pitching, especially at home. They've won 9 games in a row at home, and the starters have won all 9 of those games.
Well, certainly pitchers, hitters are getting little ruts, and a couple bad starts from AJ. 2 starts ago against Toronto, in Toronto, gave up 6 runs in 6 innings. His last start at Baltimore, even though he got in the 7th inning, 4 runs. Obviously today here in the 3rd, 6 runs.
Well, the Yankees have compiled the best record in the majors because of their starting pitching. 35 times this year, the Yankees have held their opponents to 3 runs or less, and the Yankees are 33-2 in those 35 games. And this is not one of those games. Now the offense is going to have to do it. Bail out Burnett. The 1-2. Swung on and missed. The bat goes one way, and Jorge Posada will tag out Valdez, and that will do it. But the damage was done early with the long roll ball, and it started with Ryan Howard. Howard has great power the other way, and that's the way he went. Opposite field, solo home run, and Jason Worth also goes opposite field. Bill Thompson loves it. Season, Johnny Walker, proud sponsor of the New York Yankees. Back in 1977, the Gator tosses a 3-hit shutout, the first of his career, in a 7-0 win against the Royals, right across the street at the old Yankee Stadium. Kevin Russo, there's number 49, never to be worn again by a Yankee, takes a first pitch strike from Jamie Moyer.
It had to be kind of in the heart of your, being a fan, a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Ron Guidry and his dominance in that part of the 70s.
It's amazing because it carries over to today. In 1978, which was the year he went 25-3, he struck out 18 California Angels. They were the California Angels then, here at the stadium. And toward the end of the game, every time he got 2 strikes, the entire crowd started cheering. And to this day, now with 2 strikes, that's where it started.
Really? I remember that really became big in the playoffs, like in '96, and that's where it all started.
That's where it all started. That's through the legs of Moyer, fielded there by Utley, and they still get Russo.
That's a play as a pitcher you can laugh about now because it was made in into an out, but you're wondering how you missed it. You're in a good fielding position. You get down like a hockey goalie, and it still goes through the wickets.
They score that 1-4-3 because it did touch Moyer. Now, on a serious note with Moyer, and you'll see how this went right through the wickets. And he can't believe what just happened, and checks, how did it get through there? But he's 47 years old, and he's getting people out. And sometimes you could do that. But I saw with 2 former Yankee pitchers, Tommy John and Phil Niekro, they had to get out of the game because they could not field their position. They weren't quick enough to field their position. That's the thing that goes. Yeah, you can still get people out, but if you can't field comebackers and it gets dangerous out there. Right before he retired, Tommy John made 3 errors in 1 play. On 1 play against the Minnesota Twins. And, if he couldn't field his position, he couldn't play.
Well, and especially decent running teams, they'll start pushing bunts on you. You're exactly right. And also, too, not only just fielding your position, covering first, and bunts, but the reaction time. We just saw there Jamie Moyer. He was in good position, just went between wickets, but that ball's coming back at you. Some of these guys hitting the ball 100 mile an hour plus, 47 years old on the mound. Reaction isn't quite the same as it is when you're in your 20s. So it's dangerous.
I'm just going through my head. How do you make 3 errors in 1 play? What happened?
Okay, I remember I was at the game. I'm trying to remember. I think it was a slow roller. There was a guy on base. He bobbled it, and then he threw the ball into right field.
He ran and got it, threw it again,
and then the ball got loose and it was thrown back in, and he cut it off, and then he threw it away again.
It's like Manny Ramirez just cutting it off and throwing it. That's crazy. I've never heard of that.
And I think that was the year that I think you were on that team, Al, because Dallas Green
I was there.
Was the manager. You were there for that game.
It was a little roller. He would have been safe. Threw it away. Advanced the runner, so it was 2 errors on the 1 play. And then he became the cutoff guy, and he threw it away behind home plate.
I mean, we're talking about something in 1988. It's not like it happened back in the 30s or something before they figured out, how to throw a ball or something. Wow. 3 errors on 1 play.
Count 1-0 on Jeter, who grounded out to second in the first. Count 2-0. And again, another ground ball to second. Utley's right there. And Moyer has retired the Yankees in a row. 5 in a row, actually. We go to the 4th inning. 6-1 Phils. It's Jamie Moyer tonight. Will Jamie Moyer supplant that pitcher? So we'll find out in the bottom of the 4th inning. Shane Victorino against A.J. Burnett. And pitches high, 1-0. The 1-0.
Yeah, this is one of the starts. You're obviously frustrated. You want to throw a complete game. You want to be great. You give up 6 runs. It's early, but you got to be mindful as a starter. You don't want to burn your pen. You want to be able to go as deep as you can. Somewhat conservative pitches. You got 77 pitches now. You got to forget about it. It's turn the page. Okay, it's 5 hits, a couple home runs, 6 runs. Keep making pitches.
Do you ever get that? I mean, when you're having a night like this, you think, I'll get out to the mound next inning and it's going to feel better. And then you get out there next inning and it's like ball 1 again. Like, here we go again. It's like a broken record. You just cannot find it.
Both. Yes. And I'm sure it's the same way as a hitter. You have a couple bad ABs. You either pump it up and say, okay, I still got 1 or 2 more, or you just allow the same approach as, we're seeing with AJ, getting behind and walking guys. This is the type of start that ends up being, where you're pulled much earlier than it could. I think a lot of them are gratifying, where you do struggle early on, you settle in, you get a couple quick innings, and what it could have been a disaster, believe it or not, now with this pitch count of 79, you could actually get into the 6th inning. 7th, maybe.
How quickly into a game did you ever know I don't have it?
Early, but I can tell you this, Michael, especially as I got older, there were games where I thought I wouldn't get out of the 1st, and I pitched a good ball game.
There's a strike to Polanco.
I remember one vividly in Arizona. The Piazza was a catcher. He came down. I told him just stay away because it was really that pathetic. I didn't want him to see it. I honestly did. And I may have. I don't know if I completed the game or not. It was in Arizona, but it was a heck of a ball game. I didn't have much on the ball other than my hand.
So you didn't want him to see you warm up in the bullpen.
Yep. Because normally a starter will come down and they'll catch the last 10, 12 pitches just to see what's going on.
Boone Logan up again. There's a story like that with Cone and Girardi. Cone had nothing in the bullpen. He threw Girardi out of there because he didn't want him to see what he had. There's a lot of stories like that in Major League Baseball where guys didn't feel well or they didn't get much sleep the night before, and they thought they weren't going to play. And Willie Mays was violently ill the day he hit 4 home runs. He was almost not in the lineup, and he ended up hitting 4 home runs in 1 game. The 0-1 pitch out. Runner was going. And Posada dropped the ball, so a stolen base for Victorino. Early on, you could see what the Phillies' game plan was against Burnett. Get on and go.
Yeah, well, you're gonna force the situation here. Posada, 17% throwing runners out. League average about 25%. You got a pitcher who, most stolen bases are against. He's 18, now 19. So why not? Victorino's one of your base stealers. He's got 15 stolen bases now.
I think a lot of teams that come in here are going to, the Yankees are on paper better than the teams that come in here. So, why not try to run? Why not try to steal runs?
Fly ball right field. Swisher is there. He'll make the play. So Polanco doesn't get Victorino over.
I don't think Victorino played that right. He's got good wheels. Those are the times, especially with 1 out, take a chance. You see, he didn't get back to the base till late. Didn't give him an opportunity to tag up. You always want to even take a false break to make the guy make a throw. I think sometimes you push the issue with 1 out, make him throw you out. You figure as a right fielder, you got to make a pretty good throw from as deep as Swisher was to throw him out there.
Here's Chase Utley, hit by a pitch and grounded out to first. He's missing that pitch. He can't get that pitch to go for a strike, and the count 1-0.
Well, if you see, Mike, where Posada's setting up there, early breaking balls for a guy like AJ is that he's trying to just hook that curveball on the backside of the plate. So actually, Posada's setting up away. Your Barry curveball, you want to end up being down and in, back foot to lefty. This is just a little boop, boop, strike 1 curveball.
getting into sound effects now. It's early, too, you know?
Yeah, just a little doop-doop. Yeah.
There you go.
No, that sounded different than the first time.
Because I did it, Michael.
6-1 Phillies lead, looking for more here in the fourth. Runner at second with one out. Pitch outside, 2-1.
See, that's a pitch right there, a little backdoor curveball. Making left-handed batter give up. Looks like it's going to be off the plate. Ends up wrapping around the back side of the plate. This is backdoor over here.
You know, the Phillies earlier this year were accused of stealing signs at Citizens Bank Ballpark. Charlie Manuel got really ticked off, and then for some reason started blaming the Mets for stealing signs at Citi Field. Well, they have a better record at Citi Field. Are they stealing signs? And Jerry Manuel laughed. Is how we get involved in this. But ever since that accusation, they have not hit as well at Citizens Bank Park. So people are trying to connect the dots. Was it legitimate, or is it just a circumstantial evidence? The 2-2. Grounded fair. Knocked down by Teixeira, and A.J. Burnett did not cover first base. Second time in as many nights a Yankee starter did not cover first base. And this crowd that knows it's baseball booing A.J. Burnett for that.
Well, there's not much that can happen on the field as a pitcher that I'm sure make you feel as bad as this. I mean, you got a guy make a great defensive play for you, trying to steal an out for you. And it's just, you know, it's something you know you do every single day, and it just...
Well, you said it. It is embarrassing. It definitely, the ball to the right side, it's the pitcher's responsibility to automatically run that way, even if it's right at your infielder. You do it.
Now, Joe Girardi has seen enough, and A.J. Burnett's going to get booed off the mound here at Yankee Stadium. Fans don't like what they just saw. Yes is brought to you in part by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. By Blimpie, America's Sub Shop, and by Acura. Thanks. Joe Girardi makes the call to the bullpen. Brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. So A.J. Burnett struggles in this outing, and now they bring in Boone Logan, who was called up yesterday when Sergio Mitre went on the DL. Mitre hurt his oblique muscle taking batting practice on Sunday. That's fouled off. Logan's last appearance at the major league level this year came on May 23rd. Didn't locate well when he was up here, but pitched much better at Scranton Wilkes-Barre to an under 2 ERA.
Well, when he first got here, he was impressing a lot of the Yankee folks. That throwing close to 100 miles an hour, 96, 97 miles an hour. A little slider, but you mentioned, Michael, if there's ever a spot on a pitching staff as a reliever, you come and you got to throw strikes. 7 walks in the 10 innings.
Runner goes, swung on and missed. A stolen base for Utley. Now we should further go into the stealing signs. It started, Al, actually in Colorado, where they said a guy in the bullpen, Nick Billmeyer, actually was sending signals from the bullpen. No, he had a pair of binoculars, I think. Infield is in. Grounded foul.
Yeah, of course he denied it. And Mick, a long time, baseball guy, has been with a few teams. And yeah, I've been in bullpens before where guys on binoculars looking around the stands.
They're looking for girls. I mean, really, that's what they're doing.
Not everybody's like you, Michael. You know, some people look at players out there and stuff.
Signs or
I'll play along. They're looking at signs in the stands. The 0-2. But isn't that the excuse they gave, that it was just looking around in the stands? Also, if you're going to steal signs and you have a pair of binoculars, that's pretty overt. I mean, you really should be a little bit more, secret about it.
You know what, guys? This has been going on for a long time, and there's been some talk about different stadiums that may have had lights and pinwheels and different cameras and all that. Back to Bobby Thompson's home run.
Yeah, the 0-2 just missed outside. 1-2.
But I think the biggest thing is about where a catcher sets up location-wise will say a lot about as to what the pitch would be. You have a left-handed pitcher, and if anybody's sitting out there, if you had somebody who had the ability to see the catcher locate quickly, say the ball away on a right-handed pitcher or left-handed batter.
Howard swings and misses.
It would be easy to do it. You don't need binoculars to be able to pick up location. That's the biggest thing. I think, guys, if they're gonna give signs, they end up giving location, which in some cases determines the pitch.
Right. And they're going to intentionally walk Jason Worth, and they'll take their chance with Ibanez, the lefty batter on deck, against the lefty Logan. So an intentional walk of Jason Worth.
Well, especially with Worth, who had been struggling getting that home run right center field. Obviously, this is a no-brainer matchup. You want your left-hander with it. When Boone Logan's got that slider, as he just showed against Ryan Howard, tough to hit. 94, 95 mile-an-hour fastball, and good tilt to a slider.
Now, there was one game this year where Boone Logan was playing against his former team, the White Sox. He's throwing 98 miles an hour. But that was just one game. And after that, it's gone to 93, 94. But he's got that sort of arm. He was consistently at 98 miles an hour, even if teammates said, well, where'd that come from? Well, they need a little of that right now against Ibanez. It's a big spot in the game. Yankees are trailing 6-1. Breaking ball for a strike. Nice pitch by Logan. So the base is loaded. Victorino at third, Utley at second, and Worth is at first. Could not hold up on that pitch in the count 0-2.
You saw, if you're Charlie Manning, you saw Worth take a good swing. You saw Howard go deep. Utley's had some better at-bats, and here's the next guy that you want to see start turning it around, and you just see that front hip flying open. He's a left-handed hitter that's got to learn to get back to left field.
And he pulls that one to the second baseman, and that'll do it. So a good job by Boone Logan. No runs to hit, no errors, and the bases are left loaded. We go to the bottom of the fourth. 6-1 Phils. people at NYY Steak wanted to make Paul feel better, and they really brought unbelievable food up here to the booth.
Feel better? What's wrong with him?
Well, he gets down when the Yankees are trailing.
Okay. All right, I thought you had
all of a sudden
illness.
I hear this like commotion behind me, and they're just wheeling food in. It's awesome. Like room service here.
Look at this. Look at this one here. Look at this. That's beautiful. Shrimps, prawns.
1-0 to Swisher. Now, NYY Steak, as everybody knows, great place to host your next corporate event, cocktail party, birthday party, much more. Now, for more information on how to book your next private event at NYY Steak, I have somebody for you to contact. I want you to contact Mary Gergis at 646-977-8041, or you can log on to nysteak.com. Now, Paul, what are you more impressed with, the food, or you have a knife with your name on it?
It's pretty cool, too, isn't it? Careful. Yeah. You know what? I trust a lot of people. Ryder's got a lot of energy to have a sharp knife in his hand. You know that?
Nick Swisher thought that was ball 4 and was headed toward first, but he's called back now at 3-2. How close was this?
You know, again, these are the type of games that Jamie Moyer can really frustrate you, because he intentionally is going to throw that ball a little off the plate, a little below the knees, puts a lot of pressure on the umpire.
High fly ball, right field. And Worth is there. Now, right behind us is a watermelon salad. They have prawns with crab meat, lamb chops, tuna tartare. Well, what do you go with first here, Paul?
I'm going with this bone right here in case I need to smoke you in the head with it later.
You wanted to crush this right here. That's all you were talking about.
That's mine right there. Kim Jones and I are going to split that. That's right.
Now, I'm going to trade you a Kim Jones knife for yours.
They're all going back to the restaurant at the end of the night. It's not like you put them in your pocket and take them home.
Then forget it.
Now I know what you do in restaurants. You're the guy that takes the silverware home with him, huh?
I've got a full set at home now.
Yeah, all right.
Teixeira struck out looking in the first. That one's grounded foul.
Ouch.
Robbie Thompson.
Got a bad hop down there, Robbie.
Now, you're right, Paul, about this. You're down 6-1. You'll see Rob Thompson get this tough hop or not get it. But with Moyer ahead, he's playing into your anxiousness.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And he knows he has a lead. He knows he can be aggressive to a point where he can stay around the strike zone. Hitters want to get back in the game quick, so they're, anxious to try to, you don't want to wait a guy out. In a close game, it's much easier to wait a guy out and know that a walk will hurt him. And perfect time for Moyer to be on the hill.
Ground ball is short. Valdez. And there's two-way. Let's take a look now at the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz. No, this is, the quiz. Who's the oldest pitcher ever to win a game against the Yankees?
We get a guess?
Yeah, sure. Who do you think?
I want to say one of the Necros. Hey, how you like that?
Phil Negro, 47 and 122. So if Moyer wins today, he would be the oldest. Count 1-0 to A-Rod.
Also, too, what it does. Now, Jamie Moyer, of course, he's the leading of his active players, most wins, 264. Feeding not only off the aggressiveness of the hitters, but he also feels empowered, but when he gets some bad counts, to throw his pitch and not think that I have to squeeze it because it's a 1-1 game. He's got the luxury of a 5-run lead. Obviously, it's still early enough, and the Yankees' offense is more than able. Historically, there's 4 or 5 guys in the lineup that have done well against him. But he knows that. There's some pitchers that'll keep pitching into the zone as opposed to make the hitter swing at your pitch.
Well, A-Rod has 6 home runs lifetime against Moyer, so he has swung at some of his pitches and done damage. And now the count is 3-2.
I mean, that right there, 3-1, 81-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. He's saying, here it is, hit it.
And it almost surprised A-Rod that he threw a strike, because as a hitter, you know he's not going to give in most cases.
High fly ball, right field. Worth has room, and he makes the play for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning, and Moyer has retired 8 in a row. See, Paul's getting ready. There he goes. He's going to eat. Stay tuned. He should be back. Well, thank you, Bob. Ben Francisco is pinch hitting for Greg Dobbs as we go to the top of the fifth on the Kia scoreboard. It's all Phillies 6-1. The Yankees have just one hit. And that's Robinson Cano's long home run off of Jamie Moyer. So it's the bottom of the order against Boone Logan on in relief of A.J. Burnett. Tap slowly toward first. Off the mound is Logan, and he will flip on the backhand to Teixeira, one away.
Again, as you're a manager, you get Boone Logan just back from the minor leagues. You hope he can get off to a good start, have a good outing. A little backward flip there from the pitcher, huh?
Yeah, you get a little too close. The first baseman to have a tough time hoping that you don't handcuff him. Nice play.
You talk about that, and you see it a lot with Robbie Canó, too, because he'll come in and kind of make that underhand throw, and he puts a lot on it. Very hard for a first baseman who's used to, you have a lot of time to pick up the ball from, say third base, shortstop. All of a sudden, those close plays, as a first baseman, you're setting up, and you don't have a lot of time to read the ball where it's coming from. Some of those pitchers sometimes will wheel and fire it from, 10, 15 feet, and you don't have time to react.
Obviously, with Ben Francisco coming in for Greg Dobbs, a lefty-righty platoon situation that Charlie Manuel has. Brian Schneider's in the same boat as a lefty against a righty. Carlos Ruiz faces left-handed pitchers.
Count 1-2. Stay tuned during the sixth inning for a message from our friends at the Fox Business Network.
The first thing, if you're not familiar with Boone Logan, the first thing that opens your eyes is like, here's a left-hander throwing in the mid-90s. And you don't see a lot of that around in baseball. I mean, vice versa, you got a guy on the other side throwing 82 who's kind of a crafty lefty. And all of a sudden, you've got a young kid with a good fastball.
Well, Michael said it. I think I did the game with you, Michael. He was throwing 97, 98.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of Matt Thornton kind of coming out of his hand. Here, 93, 94, more than respectable. Certainly good enough velocity. But like any pitcher, you know, you got the fastball, command of it, and a put-away breaking ball, and that's been the bugaboo, I guess, in his career, to be consistent a little more. Because it's not about stuff. He's got more than enough. 93 from the left side with a put-away slider.
You know, the way this game's going, it almost reminds you how good the Yankees starting pitching has been. And at the end of the year, A.J. Burnett's going to look back at, you know, 3 or 4 starts he had in June and think, you know, that was my downtime, and they'll turn it around and have some great starts. But it just shows you the difference that a good starting pitcher that puts you ahead in the game, usually all of a sudden, you know, the Yankees are in a hole. They're going to have to dig back offensively. Actually appreciate what their starting pitching has done in the past couple of weeks.
Well, I think the thing for me watching AJ tonight is that it's frustrating at times to watch him, and I'm sure he feels that way because, as you mentioned earlier on, his stuff is good. At times very good, but he misses with his location, and that's frustrating. I could relate to it where you know you have a game plan, you come out, you're trying to do and execute with your catcher, hitting the glove, and you know, exploiting the hitter's weakness, and you're just missing.
Like Valdez did right there. Swing and a miss. So Boone Logan works a 1-2-3 inning. We're halfway through. Phillies lead the Yankees 6-1 on yes.
Lindsay discusses her life on and off the hill, plus what's in store for her career. Center Stage Lindsey Vonn premieres tonight after the postgame, only on Yes. You like that?
That right there is rock and roll royalty. Yeah. That's Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel taking in the game together. We had Paul Simon on Center Stage, and it was one of my favorite shows. And he's such a huge Yankee fan, and he's the guy who stays to the last inning and the last out, doesn't leave early to beat the traffic. And good to see he and Art are together tonight.
It's amazing. I like that.
That's very cool. They've known each other since they were about 11.
They were separated for a while,
though. Oh, they have a lot. Yeah, they're like Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. They separate a lot. Kia Motors, Phillies lead 6-1, but they end up getting back together, and they're great together.
You know, his song, The Boxer, it was just big, American Idol, that Lee Weiser. He sang that in the show. Kind of a different take on it, but it was neat to, good lyrics. I mean, there are good lyrics. You can redo them.
You say since they were 11?
Yeah, they grew up together. I'm wondering that when you know somebody like 50, 60 years, do you have anything left to say, or you've all said it?
You know, they put it down on paper and made a lot of songs with it, too.
New stuff, right?
They haven't done new stuff.
No. He said, what are you talking about?
Oh, new stuff.
Just read the paper today.
I got to tell you, though, if I'm walking down the street in Manhattan, I would recognize Paul Simon, but I would not recognize Art Garfunkel.
You might get a miss. And Canó down the strikes. Maybe not with the hat. If he didn't have the hat, maybe.
Just a little fastball away, cut away, 83 miles an hour, frustrating these Yankee hitters right now, Jamie Moyer.
Frustrating a good hitter there. Jamie Moyer, you know, he gave up a home run inside to Robbie. He's not going to miss with that pitch again. I mean, his bread and butter when I look back at facing Jamie Moyer as a left-handed hitter was just that little cut. It's not a slider. It's not really a fastball. It's kind of a little cut fastball away. Every once in a while he'll show you that ball, usually in off the plate. And that's what I think he was upset about when he gave up that home run to Robinson Cano, that he did not get it in off the plate.
He had to absolutely drive you nuts.
It just, you know, he knew it was a battle mentally. It wasn't something that, you know, you had to go up there mentally ready. You had to know that it was going to be a long at bat.
No, but I mean more frustrating.
It
like,
just drive you crazy.
This took Tommy John a comfortable offer. I don't think these were comfortable. It's, you know, you see the ball, just enough late movement.
Yeah.
Paul had 14 hits and 53 at-bats against Moyer. 264.
Not real good.
Not terrible.
So it was frustrating. Real frustrating.
64.
1-2. Missed inside. Moyer was actually having a good year till that start against the Red Sox. 1 inning, 9 hits, 9 runs. His ERA went from 3.98 to the 5.03 it was at the beginning of this game.
You know, it's funny. There's a guy in the time of his career that really doesn't care about an ERA. You know, he's not trying to, you know, win another contract. He's just going out there trying to win some games for a good team, possibly pitch in the playoffs again.
That one is driven deep to left field. Ibanez back, track, wall, see ya! Home run, Jorge Posada. Yankees' second hit. Yankees' second home run. It's now 6-2 Phillies. Simon likes it.
Jorge Posada gets his 9th home run, and you say, you know, it's going to be a grind as a hitter. It's also got to be a grind for Jamie Moyer, knowing that if he makes a pitch, and you see this pitch right down the middle of the plate, and when you miss at 81 or 82, it doesn't usually end up as a single.
There's a ground ball by Granderson, grabbed by Utley. 2 outs.
Ibanez get back, but well into the seats.
Boy, and you said about missing location, Paul. That ball, the previous replay, just watching him stand back, you can see at the very end he was still able to get to the barrel, because initially it looked like it was off the end of the bat. Obviously it wasn't to go as far as it did.
504 home runs allowed, so one more and he ties Robin Roberts for the most all time.
You can't be the leader of all-time home runs, but chances are he's going to end up in his career without having a long, pretty successful career.
Popped up. Utley is there for the final out. So the Yankees chipping their way back in. They inch 1 run closer when Jorge Posada connected for his 9th home run of the year. We played 5 at 6-2 Phillies. We go to the 6th inning. The Yankees trail 6-2. Boone Logan doing a nice job in relief of A.J. Burnett. Yankees 2 hits, both home runs, Canó and Posada. Both solo shots. Here's Victorino. And there's a strike. Now, they can't go that far with Logan because he wasn't pitching long relief at Scranton Wilkes-Barre. So they'll get their bullpen ready in a hurry. And it's Chad Godin. That one is driven to left field. Gardner is there, and he puts it away for the first out. Time for another look at tonight's Toyota text poll. Once again, the question, do you think the Phillies will win their 3rd straight National League pennant? You can text your vote to 58772. You've been doing that. Here's how you voted. Wow, 87% say no.
That's a lot of Yankee fans voting in there.
Yeah, but who are they voting for?
Yeah, I mean, they're not voting for the Mets.
They're voting for the Mets. Well, I guess you're right. They wouldn't vote for the Mets, would they?
But it is National League pennant, not just the National League East. There's Polanco. I actually misunderstood that at the beginning. I thought it was the East. I don't think a National League team has not won the National League pennant 3 years in a row since the Cardinals in the 1940s. So it's a very difficult thing to do, to go to the World Series 3 years in a row. Well, you went 4 years in a row.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing. I'm sure you enjoyed it.
It's not like it's against the rules or anything. Huh?
It's just tough. Count 2-0 on Polanco. Grounded foul.
Especially with the National League, a little upside down. Cincinnati leading the Central, and San Diego on top out west. I don't think too many people would have predicted that. Cincinnati have improved, but St. Louis was probably the favorite there.
Now, a lot of people think that part of the problem with the Phillies could be getting to a World Series, losing it, and then the next year all you want to do is get back there, and you almost take the season for granted. There's a ground ball to Teixeira, and he'll beat Polanco to the bag. And that might be what the Phillies are going through. Hey, come out to Yankee Stadium and see the 27-time world champion Yankees in action. Bring your clients, employees, or business associates out to the stadium for a corporate outing and enjoy Yankees baseball in a private game day suite or in one of the great group locations. For more information, visit Yankees.com, call 646-977-8900, or email suites@Yankees.com. Now, Paul, every World Series you played in, you won. Al, you actually lost. No, you lost.
2001.
2001, but you retired after that, so you didn't have to worry about defending. Al, in 2000, did you get that sense that let's just get back there?
Yeah, I mean, you always play for that. I was lucky enough to have been in a few World Series. Have won a couple, but there's no doubt. You play there, and obviously with the Mets playing against the mighty Yanks at that time, we were thrilled to be part of a true Subway Series that hadn't happened. I think it was 47 years. But yeah, there's no doubt, Mike. You always want to get back. That's a selfish thing. What Paul went through and what Jeter still's doing, along with Pettit and Posada and Mariano. I always said this. I think every major league player, if they're lucky enough to get to a postseason, but if you can get to a World Series, even better, and make an all-star team, it just changes your whole perspective. I don't know how you felt after those 2 months. You just got a different view on where you want to be.
I do understand what you're saying, Michael, and it is. You get to opening day, ball gets away from Logan, and you're already thinking about the playoffs and the World Series from the year before, and you do kind of just
go through the motions.
Yeah, you don't.
Hangover.
It's just a day-to-day thing, and that big thing will happen at the end of the year, but. You're in a rush to get there. I know exactly what you're talking
about. Also, too, guys, they have 11 players on that team last year are not on this active roster right now. That's a pretty big turnover. Yeah. Of your 25-man roster, 11 of them aren't here from last year. Yankees have 8.
The 1-2. That's quite an outing for Boone Logan. He did some job as he retires the Phillies in order, 7 in a row. Time now for a message from our friends at the Fox Business Network. computer world. And by Ford, the official truck of the New York Yankees. Boone Logan strong in his 2 2/3 innings of relief. And now Jamie Moyer is trying to hold off the Yankee offense. So Logan has restored order to the proceedings, but the Yankees need to make up 4 runs. And the pitch to Gardner is a strike.
It was a very nice job by Boone Logan. And that was a big inning, too. We'll see how this plays out. But you got Moyer on the mound who's doing a nice job. You got the home run, shorten that deficit to 4, and then you got your reliever come in and get right back in the dugout.
Paul, the more you see a guy like Moyer, is it easier to hit him?
No, because it's never the same. And you know what he's going to try to do, but he'll do it in different sequences and things like that. The one thing you do know as a hitter is chances are you're not going to see much over the middle of the plate. You're not going to see much up in the zone.
That one's popped up.
Cutter away, and it just it can be a frustrating night, or if he does not have his perfect control, it can be a fun night. But over his career, it's amazing how much he's gotten done, how many victories he's got.
Now, I know he's been around a long time when his son was just drafted, which is unbelievable. Not many people have had a chance to do that. He's a father of 8. His son Dylan was drafted by the Twins in the 22nd round last week. And he's a shortstop who also has a scholarship to the University of California, Irvine. And Jeter lines on to right field, and a nice play by Worth on the sinking liner for the second out. Now, all of his kids are right-handed, though. Nice play by Worth, and he has urged the boys who are right-handed, don't pitch. Play a position, give a better chance. But his youngest son is McCabe, 6-year-old lefty, and he's having him pitch.
Because he's lefty?
Yep.
Got a game plan at least.
Well, I know he moved down to Bradenton. I think he put his one boy at that IMG camp. Obviously had lived up in the Northwest for a long time, but saw his boy was a good ball player and bring him down to Florida.
And he also has no intention of retiring at the end of this year. It's the last year of his contract. And he makes $8 million a year, but he's not retiring. Now, he doesn't know if the Phillies want him back, but he said he's pitching next year.
Well, I was talking to the pitching coach, Rich Doobie, and I asked him that. I said, how long do you think he can go? He said, you know what? If Jamie can do what he's been doing, there's Rich Doobie, he'll play till he's in his 50s. I mean, he loves it that much. He's a fan of the game. And certainly, if he stays in shape and does what he's doing, games like tonight, I don't know about in the 50s. You got to be in the right situation, right team.
But it also brings up what we spoke about earlier. I mean, your reflexes go. How are you going to feel that position in your 50s?
Satchel Paige did it.
Different game.
How old was Satchel? Every time I hear a story about Satchel,
I think he was 53.
50, 60, 70. I mean, the guy was 72 and he was still throwing. How old was he?
In Barnstorming. I thought he was 53.
Ooh, I pitched 59 years old.
In a big league game?
Yeah. Well, because he spent his great years in the Negro Leagues. And when the color barrier was broken, he was an old guy from baseball. But he could still pitch.
2 knuckleballers on there. Hoyt Wilhelm.
Yeah.
Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not, said Tom Hine.
And the funny thing is you look at that list of all the old-timers, and being from Cincinnati, they brag about the youngest player being Joe Nuxhall, who was 15 years old at the time. We lost Joe Nuxhall last year, but imagine pitching at 15. That amazes me more than pitching in your late 40s. 15 years old.
3-2.
Was it a publicity stunt?
No, it was during the war.
Yeah, a lot of the people weren't here. He actually, I talked to Joe about it a few times. He was actually at the end of the bench. It was almost like a bat boy, he said. And then they said, kid, get ready, you're going to go pitch. And then he jokes about it. It wasn't your best outing. It wasn't a Boone Logan outing from tonight. I mean, he got hammered. But he ended up coming back to the big leagues a few years later and having a pretty decent career.
Strike 3. Nick Swisher down looking.
Well, see, those are the pitches right here. When we come back, folks, we're going to get an overhead of this. And I'll tell you right now, I agree with Nick Swisher.
Well, there you go. Paul said it in the first inning. Teixeira's pitch. Well, it's closer than Paul thinks, I think. Pretty close. We go to the 7th. There it is. Tomorrow's starting pitchers. Final game of this 3-game set. And it's brought to you by Fios TV, Internet, and Phone. This is beyond cable. This is Fios. Kyle Kendrick will get the start for the Phils. And Andy Pettit, who's been great. Seems like he's pitching his way onto the American League All-Star team. 8-1, 2.46. Our coverage starts at 6 with the BP show. 6:30 is the pregame show. And 7:08 will be the first pitch here at the stadium. Verizon Wireless scoreboard. Some love in the crowd. But no love for the Yankees from Jamie Moyer as the Yankees trail 6-2. Yankees make a pitching change. Chad Godin will face Ryan Howard. They didn't want to push Boone Logan anymore because, you know, they'd rather have Logan facing Howard than Godin. But you can't push a guy who's a short reliever in the minors past 2 2/3. And those are Godin's numbers, and not very good. Howard, Worth, and Ibanez, a tough part of the order to navigate. Count 0-2. A little bit of a gamble here for Girardi because the Yankees are still in this game. The Philly bullpen is somewhat flammable. And if you hold them at 6-2, you still have 3 innings to go. But you go with Godin rather than your other short guys, and you hope that he does the job. Godin really is the Yankees' long man.
Well, with Robertson pitching last night at Channel Park, of course, Java setting up Mariano, which really wouldn't be his inning in the 7th, more of an 8th inning guy. This is just holding the gap here, as you say, Michael, to keep the score where it is.
Swing and a miss, so he strikes out Howard on a high fastball. Here's Jason Worth coming up. He's 1 for 2 with an intentional walk. Let's check out the Home Depot hitter scouting report, Paul.
Well, free agents, you know what that means. Big year, big numbers. I mean, if you think about it, he and Carl Crawford are probably the 2 big outfielders that are going to possibly be on the market. But he struggled since mid-May. I mean, he's really got off to a decent start. But since mid-May, he's hit 178. And we saw that change a little bit with a home run last time up. But family genes, I mean, you go from Dick Schofield, who I played with against his son, and then he's a nephew of Dennis Worth, who was also in the major league. So, you know, major league blood, major league player, good player too.
Godin working quickly and throwing strikes. Has a live fastball tonight. That was 93 miles an hour. The count 0-2.
Yeah, I know Godin has struggled since coming over from the A's. We showed his numbers. That was combined with Oakland and the Yankees. His Yankee ERA is 7. Well, now down lower than that. And he's a gunslinger. The guy just gets up there, is not afraid. You know, you mentioned Michael, 93-mile-an-hour fastball, good split changeup, good breaking ball, 2 different speeds. Has to be more on the corners.
Talk about Worth being a free agent, and Michael, and you even touched on it last night. I mean, he seems like he's a good fit here. They're so left-handed, you know, with Utley and Howard. You know, you need a big bopper from the right side. And, he has been that. I think that, you know, we talked about a little bit. If he could cut down on the strikeouts a little bit, and he could be a guy that you look for 30 home runs plus 100 RBIs every year.
Well, you mentioned about the free agent. I think Charlie Manuel was quoted as saying that it might be on his mind, and then Worth got upset with that, saying he doesn't know what I'm thinking. But, you know, when you have, as you mentioned, Paul, you know, pending free agency, that the Phillies locked up a few of the young players around him, and you're not locked up, you know, you start saying, hey, what about me? Especially after the year he had last year.
And many people think that the contract they gave to Howard would preclude them from giving another big contract out to Worth. So we'll see how that works out. They do have some young outfielders, but they're all left-handed hitters in their system. And this team's very lefty. 3-2. Shattered bat popped up. Canó will make the play for the second out. Let's check out the Phillies in-game box score, which is brought to you by McDonald's. A lot of hits in there. Shane Victorino with the big blow. A 3-run, bases loaded triple. And that came in the second inning. Home run for Ryan Howard. Home run for Jason Worth. Back-to-back in the third. RBI for Greg Dobbs. And a run and a hit for Wilson Valdez. 2 walks for Brian Schneider. So let's see how Yesmo shows us how that's shattered.
See, I hate that right there. Now Leiter loves it.
You bet it. Oh.
You know, an amazing stat to me, Michael, is I was looking at their lineup, and you're thinking of Worth, Utley, and Ryan hitting back-to-back-to-back, and they hit their first back-to-back home runs of the year tonight.
In that ballpark?
Yeah.
Yep.
Philly? Yeah.
The 0-1. 0-2. Howard's 1 for 4 tonight. Utley has 10 home runs on the year. And the 0-2. Just missed.
Well, that's a good 0-2 pitch to me. Some of these times, you bounce a curveball or you throw a pitch over the guy's head. You don't want to waste a pitch. This is a pitch that is close enough that a hitter has to think about swinging. And if you do, you're probably going to ground out.
Yeah, anytime a pitch is thrown, I call it the bullet alley effect, where you want the hitter to stay on it longer, and if it looks like it's over the plate, then it's a matter of the hitter looking up and down. But you have a little lane here. Try to keep the hitter thinking it's on the plate, whether it's a little split changeup or a breaking ball that's going to go down out of zone. And as he took the pitch at Grappawano, he got the call.
2-2. 3-2.
Because the longer that pitch stays on that little lane, hitters, you know that. You got to track it. You got to stay on a little longer. As we get the little feeble half little check swing. Did he go? Yes.
They always say yes. Pitchers always get the break check. I'll tell you.
3-2.
Why did it not feel like that?
See, Ibanez right there. Again, I've talked about it a little bit. He was such a good hitter to left center field, and I don't know if it's a smaller ballpark or if he feels like he's trying to make up for things by hitting home runs. But that's a 3-2 pitch where you're just trying to get a base hit, and he comes out of his shoes trying to pull the ball. It's just, to me, not his natural swing.
Popped up and out of play.
Yeah, when he came over to the Phillies, I mean, he was just electric the first half. I always saw Ibanez as a guy that any kind of fastball, especially high, really get on top and just never got off the fastball.
Hit sharply to second. Canó is there, and a 1-2-3 inning by Chaco down and pitched very well here in the seventh. At the end of 6.5, time for the seventh inning stretch here at the stadium. Phillies lead the Yankees 6-2, but we're going to stay right here to honor America in the Bronx. By McDonald's, how many hits in there? Just two. Both of them home runs. Canó, a solo shot. Posada, a solo shot. Jamie Moyer has been dealing against the Yankees. But the heart of the order coming up: Teixeira, A-Rod, and Canó. Pitches upstairs, 1-0. Verizon Wireless scoreboard at 6-2 Phils. Yankees won last night's game 8-3. Grounded to short. Valdez across the diamond. One away. Could a guy like Moyer completely foul up your swing for a while, Paul, or is that more a knuckleballer?
More of a knuckleballer. I think it can frustrate you for a night, but you're back on that what you're used to the next day. If a guy throwing 90, 92.
How about though if Charlie Manuel, when he goes to the bullpen, he brings in a guy that throws gas? Does that affect you?
No, it's just you adjust quicker to what you're used to than Jamie Moyer, in my mind.
That wouldn't affect you?
I never noticed that. I mean, it's the same thing when you face Wakefield, and then they went to the bullpen. It wasn't a big adjustment to go back to hitting guys throwing 92, 93. It was a more of adjustment to gear down for those few at-bats against Wakefield.
I think what Jamie's doing tonight, he really effectively coming in, as we just saw that pitch to Alex, came inside on Teixeira, and then that little floater two-seamer just take a little off. I mean, he's throwing 82, 83, but he's got that little 79 mile an hour dead fish.
It's such an odd game, and it's such a riveting game at the same time that, you know, we talk about Javi Vasquez, and he's struggling because he's throwing 89. 89. I mean, Jamie Moyer dreams about 89, but you can get people out in different ways. You don't have to throw gas to get people out.
No doubt about it, Michael. You know, and there's a difference in a thrown with good arm speed at 81 and somebody who is really telegraphing and showing it with less arm speed. Meaning that, you know, he's throwing that ball. He's throwing this ball as hard as, at least arm speed-wise, it's not coming out velocity, as somebody throwing 90 miles an hour. So the hitters pick up what's coming out of the arm and how quickly the arm goes through. And, of course, hitting corners is, you know, when you're constantly down the way and really missing the meat of the plate, it's still hard to square up something.
How about that? That was the first walkies issue.
What's funny is if you think about a guy who's 49 years old pitching, right? 47, whatever we're talking about. It's usually a guy that was a hard thrower that has reinvented himself, you know, looking back, like Frank Tanana or somebody like that. This guy has not changed since he came to the big leagues. This is the way he pitched, and he hasn't changed.
Although, Paul, I would say a guy like this has a better shot at pitching later into his career than somebody who threw harder, because it's not easy to transition,
right, to
change your whole style. I remember, you know, when Ron... Dave Rigetti, my mentor, you know, when his velocity went down, you know, he was gas, four-seamer, power slider. You could even say that about Gator. You know, it's hard to follow Steve Carlton. I know he pitched late into his career, but, you know, it's hard to make that move. I think of Tommy Glatt, you know, little two-seamer changeup, they have a better shot because their entire career they've had to pitch.
That one's grounded to third. Let's see if they can turn two. There's one, and there's two. So he gets Canó to bang into a 5-4-3 double play. And the 47-year-old lefty is doing the job against the Yankees. 2 hits and 1 walk, and he's leading 6-2 as we go to the 8th. Play of the game. Text your vote to 58772. You could vote online at yesnetwork.com. Tonight's candidates are Number 1, Jamie Moyer. Number 2, Shane Victorino. Number 3, Robinson Canó. Number 4, Ryan Howard. Vote now, make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. Paul?
Well, I mean, you got to give it to Moyer at this point, I would think. Huh?
At this point, absolutely. That last inning was the first time he pitched from the stretch with the walk, giving up 2 solo home runs. What an outing! And you know, we were talking about him, Marvin, on 47. His last outing,
Crushed.
One inning.
Yeah, but that's the difference. I mean,
Right.
in an older pitcher that is just trying to accumulate some wins and try to get back to the playoffs.
Francisco drives one deep to right center. Nick Swisher back, and he makes the play.
Good play by Swisher. Got back to the wall quick. And caught it over his shoulder. It's always an uncomfortable way. You kind of lose sight of the ball when your glove gets behind that shoulder.
Wow, I thought this was slipped, cutting the uprights here. He had enough of hang time for him to get to the ball. Nice play.
And, you know, one thing that we should say about Swisher, people talk about Jeter and Canó and Alex and things like that, and Andy and Phil Hughes. He has a legitimate claim on an all-star spot. He's played a good right field. He's done a great job offensively. He's been consistent through every single month. And I don't know if he's going to win in a popularity vote. I know he's one of the athletes that has the most Twitter followers of anybody. I mean, a lot. I don't know if those people vote. But he's got a shot, and his manager is the manager. And Joe Girardi likes him an awful lot. Now, speaking of voting for the All-Star game, it's now open for the 2010 game in Anaheim. Help send your favorite New York Yankees to this year's All-Star game by voting up to 25 times at Yankees.com. Visit Yankees.com. Cast your ballot now for your 2010 All-Stars. Vote early and vote often. That's what they used to say in Chicago. Vote today at Yankees.com. Swisher has 1,215,016 Twitter followers.
What does that mean?
That means that when he sends out a Twitter or a tweet, it goes to that many people. They're all signed up for his Twitter account.
How do you do that?
Now, the one thing that I would say, if he's got 1.2 million, everybody could vote 25 times. He should be leading by a lot. Why aren't these people voting for him then?
You just got him started in the All-Star game.
I mean, I'm just thinking of what is. I mean, you look at what's changed in the game. Guys are tweeting, whatever you call it.
They're not twitting. They're twitting. They're tweeting.
Just before the game, right before you go out to get loose,
well, unless he gets voted in, the one thing that might go against him, and I know Joe is going to have a big say in the vote, is that there's a lot of other Yankees that are going to be on the team. You got Phil Hughes, Pettit,
Mariano. Jeter and Canó will be voted in. They probably take Alex Rodriguez as an extra if he doesn't get the vote over Evan Longoria, which it doesn't like he will. Yeah, it's going to be a lot. But that shouldn't play against Swisher if he deserves it.
No, but I know what you're saying now. You can't show up as a manager with like eight or nine guys from your own team. It just doesn't look right. Although, the Yankees...
They won the championship.
They won the championship, and who knows? They could be 5 games up by the All-Star break. And I always think that, the winning team should have the most guys there.
So the winner goes to spoils.
What? What did you just say?
No, you just let that go, Paul. You just pretend like you know what he's talking about.
When you win, you're deserving of all the things that come with winning. It's an expression. To the winner goes the spoils. To the victor goes the spoils. Is the phrase. Now you get it. Winner, I lost you. Victor, though, I get.
You lost me, all right. I was like, what are you talking about?
You said that a lot over the last week. 1-2. How about this, the power of your voice, Paul? In the last 60 seconds, Nick Swisher got 36 more followers on Twitter. Yeah, that's true.
How do you get on an account? I mean, what do you do?
It's Twitter.com.
Twitter.com.
Yeah. And anything he texts goes out to all those 1.2 million people.
Wow.
Swing and a miss. Really strong 2 innings for Chad Godin. In fact, the Yankee bullpen has been great in relief of A.J. Burnett. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 6-2 Phillies. accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Yankees running out of time. Jamie Moyer still on the mound. Jorge Posada leads off. And that one is served foul down the right field line. Now, Paul, you want to start a campaign, I heard, for Kim Jones, right?
I was a little disappointed. I know she's into the tweeting and the twitting and all that kind of stuff, which I act like I know what she's talking about, which I have no clue. So,
right.
Yeah, it just amazes me that Nick Swisher's so far ahead in the fan vote.
He has 1.2 million Twitter followers, and Kim, at last count, 6,072.
Now, you tell me, though, are you going to... Better find out if he catches this first if it ever comes down. There we go. Are you going to, how do you say, twit or tweet?
Tweet.
Are you going to tweet Swisher or are you going to tweet Kim Jones?
You asking me? I don't tweet.
I'm asking you.
I don't tweet. But Kim should have more.
Hypothetically, though, if you did.
Oh, I would tweet Kim Jones.
Well, there we go. That's my point. I had to make a point.
If you want to join Kim's Twitter account, it's Yes Kim Jones.
Look at that.
And there's Kim. She's tweeting right now. With her knees. She's got both hands.
Now, that right there is going to get a nice little boost on her.
I'm hoping. Let's see. So she's at 6,072. We want to get her up to Nick Swisher's total of 1,200,000.
Wow, we better go in extra innings. That's a lot of people.
Fouled away in the count 0-2. I mean, you really... You don't want to keep harping on it. It's amazing what this guy's doing against a team that leads the American League in runs. And he's doing it with an 80. That was 77 miles an hour. And he gets Granderson to fly out to Vizcaíno.
I think, Michael, in a game like this, Jamie Moyer, there's a reason why he's won 264 games in his career. He's feeding off a lineup, as you mentioned, a great hitting team, the Yankees, of their aggressiveness. And he's just enough off the barrel of the bat. This is a breaking ball. Took a little bit off, 77 miles an hour. Looks very hittable. Pulls off. Granderson does. And just slices to center field.
Just enough movement. So if you got a game plan for Jamie Moyer, it's score a bunch of runs early because then he's very effective. And if you look at this as a 1-to-1 game, there's a lot more pressure on him. And right now he's free and easy.
Yep.
He knows how to pitch with the lead.
And I think that does not get understated. A 2-0 pitch, 2-1 pitch in a tight ball game when you're throwing what Jamie throws velocity-wise, you squeeze the ball a little tighter, you try to make that perfect pitch, you leave it out over. The mindset of the hitter is different.
There's a ground ball under the glove of Polanco. Valdez fields, but not in time for Russo. So an infield single for Kevin Russo.
Again, Polanco can't come up with it. Usually when he gets by that third baseman, got a chance as a hitter to beat it out.
Well, even after Polanco got past him, Valdez bobbles it just for a split second there, and that was the difference, I think. It cost him to get his feet underneath him. I know Russo runs well, but maybe been a little closer.
So only the second time this game that he's going to pitch out of the stretch. And here's Gardner. Pitch outside. I always wonder, though, when I see a guy like Moyer pitching, and Jimmy Key, who obviously threw harder, how many people out there never got drafted, never got a chance that could pitch like this, but scouts don't want to recommend somebody who throws 84 miles an hour because if he fails, then it's your fault. They're going to recommend guys that throw 95 miles an hour, and that gives them an excuse when it doesn't happen. There might be tons of people out there that could pitch like this.
Well, these are guys that also have to prove themselves all the way through the minor leagues. I mean, they never light up the radar gun. So you have to be successful all the way up into the major leagues.
I agree with you, Paul. Jamie, after he had been released, went to the Tigers. He was in AAA after a couple of years in the big leagues with Texas and Chicago Cubs. And it wasn't until the Orioles picked him up. But you're exactly right. I remember 2 years ago when maybe it's 3 now, when Mussina was struggling. There were some scouts saying, look, if we were to rate him out, this was great, Mike Mussina, not the year he won 20. Said, he would be a marginal guy that you wouldn't even consider drafting.
Right.
Stuff-wise, then you say, okay, this is a big pitcher, you know who he is, the body of work. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of guys in high school. Tons of them.
Right, that know how to pitch.
That have better stuff.
They just don't throw hard enough.
The ability to put the ball where you want time and time again. It looks so easy on television. That plate is there for a reason. It's not as wide as it looks. I mean, to be able to take off and change arm angles and put the ball in and out on the plate with consistency every single time out there.
And believe it. I said it earlier. I believe he thinks he's packing 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and he believes he's behind it. I mean, I know I couldn't do it when my velocity dropped down. You know, it was a struggle to say, okay, I can throw the ball here at 88 miles an hour. He's not going to crush it. You don't have the belief behind it. Conviction.
3-1. Popped up. 79 miles an hour. Here comes Worth. He'll make the play, and a strong 8 innings for Jamie Moyer. No runs a hit, 1 man left. We take this baby to the 9th. 6-2 Phillies. Let's look at Land Rover drives of the game. Why get a car when you can own a Land Rover? What are they, Al?
Well, off of A.J. Burnett after the Yankees were down 4-0 in the 3rd inning to lead it off. Ryan Howard going long over the left field wall. And then the very next batter, Jason Worth going to right field. Back-to-back home runs. The Land Rover drives of the game.
First time all year that the Phillies have gone back-to-back. Victorino leads off. 0-1 count now with Godin entering his 3rd inning of work. And Godin looks as good as he's looked this year.
Getting a chance to pitch. That last pitch was a nasty. The bottom drops out of it. Change up, a little split finger.
High fly ball right field. Swisher is there. And there's one of Paul, I know you're curious about this, and we want to give our viewers an idea of the power of what they could do. Kim Jones has gained 600 Twitter followers since we spoke about it.
See that?
But there should be more. I mean, there are millions of people that listen to these games.
The lines are probably busy.
Right.
Yeah, but they have an 800 number, too. You don't just have to do 212.
Yeah.
If you want to join, it's Yes Kim Jones.
You know, I'm thinking sports fans better get the rest tonight. Tomorrow's a huge day in sports, you know?
Game 7.
Got Game 7, got the Yankees. The Open starts tomorrow, the U.S. Open. Pretty good day if you're a sports fan, huh?
World Cup.
World Cup.
Brad Lidge will try to close it out. There's a strike.
Did you mention Argentina, South Korea in the morning?
That's pretty early in the morning, though, isn't it?
7:30. I mean, you've really got to want it to get up at that point.
Big upset, Spain. Switzerland over Spain.
Big upset.
Huge.
Yeah.
Is that the second time they've lost in 52 matches, I think?
What are those things called you said in the pregame?
Vuvuzelas.
That noise?
Yeah.
I mean, it does. It sounds like a beehive.
That's what they had at Olympic Stadium. Remember the little horn?
Yeah, but they didn't have that many of them, believe me. Huh? Yeah, exactly. Everybody was at the hockey game. We only had 15 people in the stand.
Vuvuzelas, they are annoying. With 2-1, there's a strike. They thought about banning them, but they don't think it's right. It's a local custom. No vuvuzelas outside Yankee Stadium, but if you want to make a buzzing sound, make the guy feel at home.
You know what else I saw in the pregame when they had the shot from over the stadium? Just reminded me something. Now, you might want to jump in this and see what kind of action you want. I challenged Michael to a hoop game over here. They showed the basketball court right by Yankee Stadium.
You challenged
him, and then he said, "No, I'll play in horse." So if you want to jump in on this.
First of all, I mean, how ridiculous is this? Look at you. You're in much better shape than me. You're a professional athlete. It has everything to do with it.
There we are, right there. I just told him, don't show up in a pair of socks up to your knees and a pair of old gym
black
shorts.
socks.
Yeah, some Chuck Taylors and a pair of shorts. The old cotton kind.
High fly ball, shallow right field. Swisher is there.
So were you retracting your thing? You just said you could beat me in horse.
I'll beat you in horse, but don't expect me to play you one-on-one. You're an animal. I've seen how you were when you played.
I just asked Al if he wants to get in on a horse field. Here you are. You're shooting off over there. Come on, we got through eight and a half real easy, and now you're going to ruin it.
You want to do it for batting practice show this weekend?
What do I got to do if I lose? The show?
I don't think you should ever show up again.
I'm going to be out of a job. Huh?
Go home.
That whole Warrior tag would be over. Here's Chase Utley. Pitch outside. So the Yankees will go from Moyer to Lidge in the bottom of the ninth inning as they try to make up a 4-run deficit. And Lidge blew a save last year against the Yankees here during the regular season. Although this is not a safe situation for him because the Phillies will be up by at least 4. He struggled this year with injuries, ineffectiveness, and they really need to straighten him out. For a while, Jose Contreras was the closer and did a really nice job.
Is still doing a really nice job. ERA in the ones.
Yeah, they have him setting up now, pretty much.
But they need Brad Lidge. So look, 2 years ago, he was as good as anybody in the game.
That 1 year, he went without blowing a save.
The year they won.
He's had some knee trouble and just hasn't been the same.
I'll tell you, from a Yankee point of view, everything's been going good. You've been rolling along, beating teams, and then you have a night like this where your starting pitcher, he's got great stuff, has an off night, but you look at some things that are positives. Then you look at Logan and Godin. Both of them have had good stuff tonight. Pretty much shut Philly down since they went to the bullpen.
2 2/3 scoreless innings for Boone Logan. And that one is driven to right field. Swisher's there. And 3 scoreless innings. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 9 in a row for Chad Godin. Me and O'Neill this weekend. Yankees coming up in the bottom of the ninth. But Jamie Moyer has been the story through 8 innings. Let's take a look at the IOTV HD Super Shot. We actually had to speed this up to get the pitch up to normal speed.
Boy, that's the powerful four-seamer there, Al.
Yeah. Boy, he's been obviously very good. A very good Yankee lineup. 8 innings, only 3 hits, and 2 solo home runs by Canó and Posada. Obviously, the frustration of not only Gardner, but these Yankee hitters have been off their timing all night long.
You know, you could count on one hand how many pitches he really missed, and 2 of them were the home runs. I mean, he was spectacular for the Phillies tonight. Changed his speed, didn't get away from what he wants to do. I think the important thing was, I mean, it was a really, really big night for the Phillies to get out to a lead, and he's just a guy that knows how to pitch with a lead and uses it to his advantage.
You see Lidge's numbers this year now. He has 4 games he's pitched against the Yankees in his career. He has a 10.38 ERA against the Bombers. And he also took the loss in Game 4 of the World Series last year. So the Yankees have the top of the order against Lidge. They need a 4-run rally here. Jeter, Swisher, and Teixeira will start it off. And after that, Alex Rodriguez and then Canó. Jeter was 0 for 3 against Moyer. Things will speed up now against Lidge. Inside. Lidge has 5 straight scoreless outings since coming up the DL. 4 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts.
You know, I'm just looking at this team now, and I'm thinking, you know, they got off to a start last year in the World Series. They won, and everybody talked about it. You know, the Yankees were down 1, but then the Yankees pretty much one-handedly. They won the World Series. But if you put them back in that situation and say you get to a game 6 or 7, and you get everybody healthy, you get Rollins back, I think Philadelphia's a better team right now. Polanco's good, and then you've got Halladay, who can be an absolute shutdown in a huge game. You agree, Al?
I agree to a point. I don't know if Joe Blanton was a pretty big part, especially postseason. And I know Halladay, you could probably say, okay, Halladay, Cliff Lee, overall the body of work, I would take Halladay. But what Cliff Lee meant to that team last year was fantastic, what he did in the postseason. I think Cole Hamels is better this year, especially of late. So you do have that the 1-2 tandem there. Happ was a pleasant surprise. I just think the pitching, especially the top 3, with Joe Blanton having a good postseason, hasn't been there.
Right.
But offensively, I'm with you on that.
I think they have a lot to do to try to turn this around offensively. Tonight, you got kind of a look of what they're expected to do, and Rollins is a big thing. Victorino's a good, solid player. But I think Polanco's a big game player, and I think Roy Halladay, in the right situation, could be unbelievable.
Yeah, as good as Pedro Feliz is as a defender, I like the overall play of Polanco. I agree with you.
Last year, Lee 4-0, 1.56 in the postseason. Hard to improve on that.
Yeah.
Here's a 3-2. Strike 3. Jeter's down looking. And he is not enamored with that call.
Well, you saw Jeet kind of hesitate. You saw Brad Lidge hesitate, too. That's one of those pitches I don't think either guy expected to be a strike, and it ended up. Ball's just up, and you see a catcher move his glove down for a reason.
Well, how about this? He's down by 4. You got a potential leadoff batter. You know, you got to make sure that this is. And I know he throws a lot of slides. Looked like it was above the belt. Certainly wasn't letter high, but that pitch now in this day and age is normally called high. We're already not liking it. But I just find it an interesting pitch. No wonder why Derek Jeter gave up on it. A 4-run lead, 3-2 slider.
Swisher fouls it away.
Actually, it was a little slower than a slider. It was almost like a curveball.
Right. I mean, his slider in the old days, boy, he threw it as hard. I mean, it was 90 miles an hour. It was a nasty, nasty pitch. Here's a guy that if I'm the manager, you know, I don't care what he throws. 3-2. This is guy, to me, is a guy who pitches on confidence. And if he gets confident, you are setting up your bullpen. He has a couple outings where he's shaky. All of a sudden, you've got a big question mark on your head as a manager. Is he going to be able to hold that 1-run lead in a big game?
Which is what happened last year. When, if you remember, Charlie Manuel was going with Ryan Madsen in some closing situation. Which Madsen been their setup guy. I mean, if there's ever a position on the field that you have to have the bravado of, I am better than everybody as a closer. There's no parachute behind you, and you got to say, here it is. He knows it the best of anybody in the game.
That's a guy that doesn't have to tell himself that. The whole world tells him that. I mean, he's that good.
Swisher goes down on strikes. Yankees Baseball on Yes, brought to you in part by your Tri-State Volkswagen dealers. Visit tristatevw.com. By the Karate Kid, starring Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan, now playing. And by Mazda. Zoom, zoom. We talk about closers, guys. 8 closers last year in the postseason, 8 teams. 7 of them blew big saves. Mariano didn't blow any, and the Yankees won the championship. So the Yankees down to their final out here as Teixeira takes a strike. Fouled away. Coming up after the final out, Bob Lorenz, John Flaherty, and Jack Curry are back in the studio for the WB Mason postgame. You get highlights, analysis from this game and around the majors, plus Kimberly Jones gets the reaction from the clubhouse. The WB Mason postgame coming up. It's only on Yes. Count 1 and 2.
I think Bob Lorenz twits.
I think he does.
Yeah, he does.
It's tweets. You keep calling him a twit.
Yeah, tweets, you know.
Jack Curry does as well. Chris Sheeran, a lot of the Yes people do. 1-2. You're going to get on it tonight, aren't you? You're going to ask your son, and you're going to get a Twitter account.
I'm going to need a little help. Yeah. I know that, because I couldn't do it on my own. You ever get that look from your kids out when you talk about the computer or something? They look at you like, are you kidding me? You don't understand it? Well, if you don't grow up with it, you don't understand it. You know, while you were home playing video games and stuff, I was out in the backyard playing baseball. That's what I was doing, you know? I am pretty nifty on this new iPad. Yeah. I can get the weather report like that, you know that?
It's amazing how Neville has raised 4 children.
You know what's funny? She's got a password on it. I got to go to her and ask the password to get on half the time. She keeps her kids off.
So Teixeira's worked the count full. Lidge deals. And Teixeira works a walk, so the Yankees are still alive.
I got to believe, right there is a pitch. Now, again, Brad Lidge throws a lot of sliders. He's pretty much become a slider closer. But again, he's 2 outs. You're up by 4. You got to throw your strike pitch. He throws a backdoor slider and misses. Now, I mean, I just think, you know, in normal situation, he's in a closing situation, 3 runs or less, and that's a pitch he's saying, okay, I'd throw that in any situation.
Those are the numbers A-Rod has against Lidge, 2 for 3 with a home run. There's that slider swung on and missed. Must not feel very good about his fastball, Al. He stayed away from it on 2 3-2 pitches.
You know what, Michael? I remember watching a game last year he in Florida, and he threw, of about 17 pitches, he threw like 15 sliders.
Runner goes, no throw, so Teixeira takes second on defensive indifference. A-Rod, remember, hit that go-ahead double against Lidge in the 9th inning of Game 4 of the World Series. A big hit for Alex and for the Yanks. Foul back. Alex starting in his first game after missing 4 and then only 1 inning of the 5th.
See that ball beat him a little bit. Just didn't quite get to it. A lot of times when you have that leg kick part of your swing, it's a rhythm thing. And if everything isn't in rhythm, you know, you don't quite get extended on that. That's what happened on that fly ball. But when everything goes together, that's why he has the type of power he has.
Crowd of 47,414 here at the stadium. And the 1-2. 2-2. Alex has been on the shelf with a hip flexor problem. Getting a lot of treatment. from the Yankee trainers, and back in the lineup as a DH tonight. So far, he is 0 for 2 with a walk. A 2-2. Line drive, base hit, down the left field line. That will easily score Teixeira. Alex Rodriguez is going to go to second, and he will get himself a double. RBI double for Rodriguez. Yankees now trail 6-3.
The big question here, as you see, Alex Rodriguez got that foot up, down, hangs right over the plate, arms get extended, hits an absolute bullet. And right here, as you're going in at second base, you realize, you're trying to stay at kind of an even pace, 70, 80%. And he has slow-mo, shows a breaking ball right there. Didn't have a lot of bite. Just look at the extension here, the difference in the swing.
Well, Lidge has put himself in this spot, I think, with getting kind of cute with his off-speed stuff. Walking Teixeira and get behind with a slider through a fastball. Now it's fouled off and they left that slider out over.
There's a fastball to Canó for a strike. Yankees get one more runner on, and that brings a time run to the plate. Canó 2 for 2 against Lidge, lifetime.
Joe Girardi must have been happy with the way A-Rod ran, because you would think if he saw any limp whatsoever, he'd have a pinch runner in right now.
J.C. Romero getting up just in case. Granderson, a couple of batters away. The 0-1. Now he's going fastball on the count, 1-1. So the Yankees lulled to sleep by the soft tossing of Moyer, now with 2 outs in the 9th inning, putting together a very late rally. Walk, double, and Canó is up. It's 6-3 Phillies. Right in on the fist of Canó, and he grounds and foul. Doobie going through charts. Charlie Manuel looking down at sheets, but they need Brad Lidge to get people out. Jeter probably thinks he should be on base or have scored a run because he didn't think that was strike 3. 1-2. Hit sharply and through for a base hit. They're going to hold Alex Rodriguez at third. That run doesn't mean anything. So Canó picks up his second hit of the night, and now Posada comes up as the tying run.
Again, you're facing the best hitter in baseball. He's going to put it in play somewhere hard. Slider down.
Well, watching Lidge, and I know we're talking about it, but a lot of sliders, and obviously Canó, as good a hitter as he is, just was able to hit it.
In the 5th inning, Jorge Posada from the right side hits a solo home run. This one would fall under the heading of much more dramatic. He had 2 grand slams over the weekend against the Houston Astros, 9 home runs on the year. And they're out on the mound talking with Lidge right now. This is big, obviously, for the Phillies. Now, if you keep Posada in the ballpark, then you're going to go to Romero to face Granderson. You're going to go lefty-lefty. And the Yankees, the way they struggled the whole night against Lidge, you know what? I guess they don't have much of a kick coming. They've got an opportunity to have the tying run on base with Moyer. They struggle against Lidge now. They obviously are doing the job that they need to do. And it's starting to rain here at the stadium.
Joe Girardi's got to be very happy the way this team. I mean, when you're playing well and every once in a while you have that game, it's very easy to just say, hey, we'll get back to them tomorrow. They battled back, put the tying run at the plate.
And there's a strike.
Good slider.
Posada has homered in 3 of his last 4 games. Rain falling here at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees would like to rain 3 runs on Brad Lidge right here. 6-3 Phillies. And the count 1-1.
If you're the pitcher right there, you've thrown a good slider and then you try to paint a fastball inside, you don't get the call.
Well, especially where how close Jorge is, and that ball comes back. Oof. Boy, oh boy, that looked like a good pitch.
Ed Rapuano, the home plate umpire. 0-1. 2-1.
Obviously, a fastball count. Throws a lot of sliders. 2 fastballs in a row. Tried to come in. The short porch and right. See if he stays away. Backdoor slider.
Breaking ball. Drops it in for a strike. Some Philly fans biting their nails. Charlie Manuel's not feeling too good about things right now. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. The pitch. He struck him out. Slider diving down and in, so Lidge flirts with trouble, but wiggles out of it as the Yankees just score 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. And the Yankees lose this one 6-3, and the Yankees' 9-game home winning streak has been snapped. Well, stick around for the postgame show to find out who's tonight's Chevy player of the game.
The sharpest breaker you saw in the whole 9th inning, and he got to it by throwing a couple backdoor sliders. Big sigh of relief for Charlie Manuel and the Phillies.
Able to change speeds on that, but I agree, Paul. I think Posada saw 2 different breaking balls. A little harder one that was like a cutter, and then that was more of a true slider depth.
Well, the Phillies have evened up this series. Yankees won last night. The Phillies tonight. Come back. We have an award to give out. And then the postgame with Bob, Jack, John, and Kim. Stick around.